It's my first time doing this.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sketch Zone podcast. I'm Carlos Gomez. With us this week, we're going to be talking to someone that
Here we go, speechless.
She's that type of artist that leaves me not even knowing what the hell to say.
Aw.
Except welcome Tiffany Mang.
Thank you for
Welcome.
having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on. So we're going to talk to Tiffany about her wonderful artwork. But first, let's welcome Charlie B. Williams III.
What's up, nation? It's another week. I'm back. Hello, chat. How's everyone doing? Noelle is here.
She's on fire.
Hello. She's ready to go.
And we're off.
Let's keep Carlos in line. Let's go.
Let's welcome Sketchbook Jack.
Yes.
Jack Kasperzak.
Do this. I'm excited.
That's right. That's the other half of the Gluten Brothers, if I do say so myself.
Is that a thing, Gluten Brothers?
It is.
That's a real thing, man.
You got a
That's
weird,
real thing.
quirky like logo somewhere, just ready to go.
We're working on
one.
Yo, Jax, are you making stuff also?
Oh, I've been making
dude.
stuff. I just don't post it that much. He and I started making when I was up there. We were making pasta, and now he's all like super into it. Post with the pasta machine and the roller, and he's.
Do you have
I
one
go
already?
out. I go out into my yard. I pick tomatoes, and I have a bunch of herbs that I take.
Cool. That's like my
And I
dream.
make some.
You guys are like little women,
So cool.
little Italian women, just like making pasta and picking
Yeah.
tomatoes.
I'm gonna quit my gym membership and just get plump.
It's a nice round.
Yeah, when this animation thing falls through, I'm making pasta.
Call you.
Hell yeah.
Guys enjoying like a home, I don't know, like I'll make like a home pasta group.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like Jack and Papa Giorgio over here.
Yeah.
Noah wants to know. Hey Jack, has Carlos brought you into the white powder habit?
Wow. Loaded question.
Um,
I'm gonna let you on a little secret. When I went over to his house, his cabinet was full of brown powder, and I was like, "You got to use the white powder because it rises better."
Because if I was running around town, if I run around town yelling white powder, people misunderstand me every time.
White powder. You stupid. That's a good joke. You stupid.
nice.
Oh
I'm gonna
man.
make a T-shirt that says white powder and see if I can get inducted into the KKK. Hey,
Make pasta great again.
hey, if you're watching live like Noelle is, you can use the chat. Otherwise, that's right. You can use the Sketch Zone hotline. That's 408-753-8248. That's that's
Yo, get it right.
708 is the area code in the Chicago area. 408 Sketch 8 international callers. Please use 011 408 753
Operators are standing by.
With that being said, let's go ahead and get into.
Oh, we're going right to it today.
Let's go to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
We should have a lip
That's
sync
right.
channel now.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is why we have a painter here.
Mhm.
But first, let's take a look at Shiloh illustration. This week, you guys, we are drawing a Puma window washer sinning.
Sinning.
See, I saw his, and then I just went.
Window washer thingy. This one's really cool.
Yeah.
You did a good job on this one.
Shiloh is
The man.
just kind of, yeah. Hashtag baller. Hashtag badass.
Baller alert.
Yeah. So yeah, wonderful. Like there's a pig robbing a bank, and or that could be the Puma is paying the pig for white powder.
Yeah. See, the pig's inside connect. See, so
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
There you
the Puma just wants to make pasta.
go.
It's expensive flour.
I get it now. So if Jack was making pasta first, he's like the OG in the relationship, and then Carlos is like the specialty with the bread. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's quiet, like the mafia type. He doesn't really talk about it. It's like
Jack taught me how to make pasta, and I taught him how to make bread.
About the pasta. I get it. Hey, okay, Jack. I see how it is. Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Let's take a. This one was really cool. I liked it.
Carlos, I love him.
Prose Heavy Comics. He said that it was a loose representation, but I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Just a quick.
Well, is she wearing Pumas?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Okay.
And I want to point out something. So my buddy DJ Risky Business, who has been on the podcast before,
yes.
I'll have to. He just released an album. He just produced an album that was. I listen to it every time I'm in the car. It's that good. It's so good that I'm like, I can't believe one of my friends made this. But look how it works. Like Prose Heavy Comics made this, and Risky said, dude, this would be perfect for She Killed an Ecstasy is what Ski means. But She Killed an Ecstasy is his band. You guys should follow them on Instagram because they are phenomenal. But this fits right in. Anyway, so all of that to say, that's why you do things like this, because you can get exposure that'll open the door to, but like this.
Oh, he wants to use it for album artwork. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Hopefully Risky will follow up with them, and this might be
paid for a fun prompt.
Yeah, that would be good.
Make it rain.
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's really cool. All right. And then the last one is yours truly, who it's a window washer trying to snatch it. So I was trying to get as many 7 deadly sins as possible. So you have gluttony. You have I don't know if thievery is one, but he's stealing, so that's a sin, right? That's not one of the 7 deadly, but
so you got 1 out of 7.
yeah.
No, there's envy because the little dog is envious.
Okay.
Did he break the window?
He's got kind of a feminine body. Maybe that's lust.
He's lusting after the sandwich.
I would.
Anyway. So horrible.
Yo, his back is bent really.
That was
really. It's like an S curve.
All right, let's get a new one going.
All right, moving on. So Tiffany, we need your help. It's Carlos' inner self again. Oh my God. Okay, so we need you to help. If you can pick 2, 3, possibly 4, but between 2 and 3 is the sweet spot. It doesn't detract people.
You do what you want.
So out of adjective, animal, character, action, style, and location, what should we pick?
So I can choose 3 adjectives or 1 adjective?
It'll just be 1, yeah.
1, okay. Bodacious.
Oh, you're gonna provide one.
Oh, okay.
Whoa,
we can do bodacious.
Okay.
Good luck spelling that.
That's Carlos' job.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Bodacious. No 2 O's.
Yeah, just yeah.
Okay.
So you'll use that one and pick another 2 spots, and then we'll
pick 2 more spots. So we have animal, character, action, style, and location left. What should we keep, and what should we check, and what should we uncheck?
I'll do animal, and then location.
Jeopardy music.
Location.
That's the next music track.
That's interesting. All right, let's see
roll
what
these
happens.
dice.
A bodacious spider in the fields.
Okay, I see. Okay, so okay. A bodacious. Wow, I think I just did a really hard one.
We can roll again if you want.
Bodacious can mean whatever you want, really.
True. Picked a very free word. They can interpret that for themselves.
Or we can unlock
We
this.
can
and do it
erase
all over
yours,
again.
and we can just see what the new adjective is or objective. What is it, objective? Adjective, yes.
What do you guys think?
What do you want to do?
Steve. Steve Carrillo is in the
Hey,
the chat.
Steve.
I thought I was gonna be able to choose the animal, so I was gonna say sloth.
Okay.
You can put
You can do
sloth in
that.
there. You want to change the?
You want to change bodacious or you want to keep bodacious?
Let's do
or you want to go random, or we can just see what happens.
yeah, let's see random.
The chosen sloth in the hideout. He's the chosen sloth.
I say keep it.
He's not just a regular sloth.
He's the chosen one in the hideout. The hideout.
The chosen sloth in the hideout. They could create a whole story about that.
I like it.
Do you want to do that?
Sure.
We in? All right, cool.
Yes, we're going with it.
That works. That works for me.
I'm curious to see how if anyone will even do it.
Funny, the chosen sloth.
Chosen sloth in the hideout.
Made a really awesome.
Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
Cool.
I like it.
Like it a lot.
Not bodacious.
The chosen.
The
Chosen
sloth
in the hideout.
All right. So that's how we do that.
Feel good about that.
All right. So Jack shared a link with us
Okay.
earlier
Did I?
this week, yesterday, the day before,
Sure you did.
where Google is coming out
Oh,
with
yeah.
something where you get to pick an illustration or something or other.
So it's called Quick Draw. Let's drop the link.
Drop it.
Drop it like it's hot.
All right,
So the premise of this thing, it's Quick Draw with Google. This is part of Google's ever
Skynet.
adventure to there it is. I dropped it. You Carl, you have to share it in the chat. The premise here is that it's machine learning, this kind of networked AI, neural networks as they call them, and the premise is that as you draw, it will try to figure out what you're drawing. And at first I thought it was a little gimmicky, and then I got really weirded out. Because
Can we do this live?
yeah, we should do it live. One of us
Yeah.
can share our screen.
I'm gonna do a bodacious
sloth.
So
sloth.
you want me to do it, or Carlos, you want to do it?
Both of you guys do it. Just share screen. Just can't talk right now. Just share screen.
All right.
Everyone share. Chat, you seeing
So
this?
here's the page. It's Quick
I'm
Draw
clicking
with
both of you
Google.
guys, yeah.
So the premise is, okay, you've got 20. It's going to give you 20 in 20 seconds. She's going to guess what it is. Now, see, but the thing is you're not going to hear the audio, but I think it prints it. So I got to go and I got to draw an avocado. Oops.
You dirty.
Whoa.
See, she's already guessing.
Here, I think I can.
Oh,
make it
okay.
go. Watch. Here we go.
There you go. So
Right.
she figured it out as an avocado. Well, maybe just one of us should do it. It's going to get complicated.
Just tell me if you can hear this.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just click between both of you guys, but okay.
Wait.
Were you doing it, Carlos? Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, we don't hear it.
He's drawing an umbrella.
Okay, so look, the thing goes, it's an umbrella. Bam, done.
Wow, how does she know?
So
You free draw and not tell you what to draw?
no, they have. So okay, so this right now is it's based off of a library of words. So it's not incredibly impressive because it is pulling from a library. However, what the premise is that it's collecting a bunch of drawings that people have drawn, and then it's kind of doing pattern matching. So when you get all the way through, it will show you what all of the submissions were, and there's like thousands of them. So it's basically finding, similarities between the various drawings. But what's interesting about this is it's like learning symbolism. It's not even, actual things. It's not pictures of skateboards. It's weird symbol drawings of it. And finds them really fast. That's the weird part. Like, oh, I know, skateboard. There it goes.
Wow, I've never seen anything like that. Draw a helicopter in under 20 seconds.
This is freaky.
Yeah, it's pretty. See a jack. It like actually talks and like kind of interacts.
Yeah, it does. If you do it on your own machine, it actually speaks. It says,
Yeah,
"Oh, I know.
good
It's
to
a
me.
it's a helicopter."
It got me. I stumped it once, but that was because he didn't understand I was drawing a marker. But like, I just drew an envelope and it was crazy. That's crazy. Like you got it.
Yeah.
Huh.
See the robot singularity is coming.
It scares you because he's like, I see line. I see.
Yeah.
You're like,
It reminds me of this
which
Black Mirror episode that I saw that freaked me out. I don't know if you guys watch Black Mirror.
I love Black
Yeah, I do too.
Mirror. Which episode?
The one with the what do they call it? The metal dogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where like it was just like set on killing and you just couldn't reason with them or anything. That idea totally freaked me out. And I know things like this are being made, and what is it, like Boston Mechanics or something?
Yeah.
Robots and stuff. And I don't know how I feel about AI and all that stuff. And it's, I guess, kind of inevitable, but at the same time, I'm curious to see how things will progress. So it's yeah, that episode really freaked me out.
which is interesting, and we'll get to this part later, but you got to work on Loving Vincent, and if you want to talk about something that was so completely manual.
True, that is the opposite of yeah.
Yeah,
that would be the opposite.
yeah. And I think that's one of the exciting things that I was happy that you wanted to come on the show, was because the timing was serendipitous, where we're looking at AI and it's getting to the point where AI will draw things for you too. So
Yeah.
if you guys remember, they used to have these big, huge books with a bunch of little clip art pictures, and then in the back you had like a couple CDs, and you search for the one that you wanted to use for your really horrible presentations. It's getting to that point where you're going to be able to tell this Google thing, hey, I need a picture of, hey, Tony Borden is here. You're going to be able to tell Google, hey, I need a picture of, Earth. And it's going to be able to pull that picture up, and you'll be able to drop that into whatever you're working on. And as illustrators, is this something we need to fear?
I've talked with people about this, and yeah, I mean, like, robots have been replacing a lot of things that you do, like, I guess a lot like in everyday life. I don't know, like packing things, carrying things, automated things. But I hope the one thing that they can't reproduce, maybe they can reproduce like the drawing part, the aspect, but I think that they will never be able to do it as good as artists, because they lack that emotional part and the sentimental part, and like they can't replace the creativity. So I hope that never happens, because if it is, then I mean, we all might as well go out of business or something.
So here's the extension of that. So I don't know if you guys have seen this type of thing on neural networks, where it's taking libraries. Image to image is like one of these neural networks where it's taking a library of photos. There's various ones of buildings, they did shoes. So basically is you can draw a cat. I'm going to draw a cat.
You're doing that right now?
Yes. So I'm going to draw this cat. And then you're going to hit process. And this is kind of weird and disturbing. It shouldn't take too long.
Don't tell me it's gonna give you like a realistic cat.
Yeah, hang on.
Yo, it's like building. It's like
yeah. I don't remember it taking this long, but let's let it cook while we talk about it.
Jack, scroll up just a little bit too, so a little bit higher, the other way. Yep, perfect.
It's downloading a model.
Scroll up some more.
So, well, it's not actually a model. So what the premise behind these neural networks is that it has a library of inputs. Like people have done it with, like, say, a large amount of data of Harry Potter. Like it's got all of Harry Potter in it, and it basically is pattern matching sentences, and then you can tell it to randomly generate a Harry Potter sentence, and it produces something back that sounds like something J.K. Rowling would have written. So the way these work is it's taking all of these images of cats, and then it's who knows what it's doing, edge detecting, pattern matching, color matching, I don't know. And so then it takes your input and basically finds the similarities in the cat pictures, and then it will produce you a cat based on what you drew. I really don't remember it taking this long, but
it could be just because you're streaming too.
Yeah. But if anybody's interested in this, we'll drop this in the.
I really want to see what it makes.
Yeah, we will.
Right.
And there's one that also does human faces, which is also really disturbing. They kind of come out like Leatherface murder masks, but they do look like people. It's kind of creepy. All right.
Now, what's interesting
Watch it
is
not work. Like didn't work.
What's interesting is Adobe has this thing. Adobe's AI is called Adobe Sensei, and they have something very similar to this where you can draw something goofy and it'll go into Adobe stock images and pull up those images. And what's crazy is they have where you can put in like you can select multiple images of the same model, and you'll do a layout around one picture. Wow. You'll do the layout around one picture, but then you'll be able to flip through all the different similar images. And you just basically tell Sensei what you're looking for. It's a lot like this.
I don't like it.
Yeah, we're getting dangerously close to. Now, what's cool is if you go back one, some of these cats only have one eye. So,
well, if you only draw one eye, it only gives you one eye. See, this person just did a little line of an eye, and it was like, oh, that must be the eyebrow.
And it rubber stamped the other eye out. Oh my goodness!
Like that's just disturbing.
That's just creepy.
Yeah,
it's creating
fur with legs.
Dream versions of cats.
Mutant cat.
Yeah.
No.
I do think that to some extent, artists do need to be.
Yeah, we're getting to that point. And it sucks because just this week I had this conversation with this guy who owns his own business on the East Coast, and we were talking about we were talking about what each other do for a living, and he owns his own like finance company, and I was telling him what I do, and then he started bragging about how he goes on Fiverr and gets a bunch of this work done for 50 or 60 bucks. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, cool. Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
But go away.
It's because of you that there's a bunch of us that are struggling to make a living.
Yeah. I get so many times, like, especially now, like as trying to like make a living as a fine artist, like people will be like, oh, like how much does it cost to do like illustration? Like $10, 20. I'm like,
yo, I'm gonna slap you in the face. What?
Oh, it's easy for you to like just whip your magic wand and like create a beautiful image, right? And it's like, no, creativity is the hardest out of all things, and just to create something custom and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't understand that, I guess. And,
yeah. That whole you can do that real quick, can't you? Like.
Especially like animation. Oh, 30 seconds. That's easy, right? Like you can animate that in a couple days, right?
Yeah. Yeah. To which I always say, yeah, it only took 4 years of education and 15 years of job experience. But yeah, it is pretty easy.
Yeah. Why don't you try it yourself? Go on YouTube, learn a little bit. You could whip out 30. I don't know.
Don't get me started on that one either. Because I can't tell you how many times someone's said, oh, I'm going to let my kid take a crack at it. Okay, well, let me know when he ruins it, and you're gonna have to pay twice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess that's sort of how the world is conditioned now. I don't know. Everything's fast, and produced very fastly. So people think that everything should be made that way. I feel, and art, I feel, doesn't come that way. So I don't think I'm making sense right now. So sorry if I trip over my words.
Okay, Carlos does it.
No, you're making. Yeah, I do it all the time. No, you make a lot of sense. And you're right. Like, just because something like you do, traditional media takes even longer than the stuff that we do, because I'm mostly digital, only because I'm we'll just say financially conscious of how much it costs to put oil paints on a canvas.
Yeah, starving artist true is a true term.
But even still, you still have, you know, like to design a t-shirt or something like that, or a logo even, it's going to take a handful of days to properly do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To come up with something good. Like anyone, they can find anyone, you know, will undercharge themselves and whip out something that's not quality. But I feel like, you know, to put something out that has, you know, good quality to it does take a few days, and a lot of times people don't know that, I guess. But yeah, especially like traditional media too.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because technology is doing it to us yet again, because even if you create an app, people are expecting a free app or anything that costs more than 99 cents. People are accustomed to getting that.
Yeah.
And it's, you don't understand how much time it takes to do something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
and
yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, it's just like, it's like, it's not only the time, but I guess like, I don't know, like the thought and creativity you put in it, because it's not like 1 + 1 = 2. It's like, as like lately, as I've been finding out, as you know, painting and everything, it's like a lot of problem solving. Like people think it's just, oh, you're just like putting down brush strokes or something and la la la, let's see like how it gets. But it's constant figuring out of design digitally or traditionally. And figuring out design, you're constantly working, and it's sometimes it's the hardest thing. Like I'm just finding out more and more. And so I love looking at other people's artwork, seeing how they got to that. And I love that journey of just problem solving, but that's why it takes so much time. And that's the beauty of it, I think. And I love having that time to search for that. So it's really, really the biggest, hardest kind of problem solving, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
Like concrete facts, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you've run into that, huh, Jack?
You mean like problem solving in creativity, or
problem solving as far as people trying to get your work for cheap?
That's not where I thought you were going with that, but yeah, I mean all the time actually. It's constantly, you know, you're approached for, someone finds you online or finds your portfolio or word of mouth, and they approach you because they like your style, and clearly I had a guy approach me because he wanted me to do the illustrations for a board game they were developing, and it was like a legitimate company. It wasn't just some nobody. And he had already mocked up a game, like with stuff he just took off my website, and was like, "Hey, this is what we're thinking. Would you be interested in joining? We really would like to have you illustrate for the board game." And I was like, "Sure." And I, you know, started laying out my rates or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, no, I meant just using the images that are already on your website." And I was like, "Well, I can license you some images, but many of those, you know, are being utilized for other projects or whatever that I can't, you know, I don't want a double license. But, you know, I said, here's the ones you can use." And I gave him the license fee, which, you know, is almost as much, if not more, than me creating something new. and then they kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted they wanted to just download the images off my website and be done with it. You know.
And the crazy thing about that is, it took just about the same amount of time to create them back then as it would have if you would have paid me. So you still have to pay me.
Mm-hmm.
The timeline doesn't change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that was it was a brief argument. He was like, I just don't understand why the licensing fee costs so much. Like, it's already done. And I was like, but I put in the time and the effort to still generate that. Like, if it's really no different, you know, if you hired me now and said, hey, create this character, or you said, oh, I like that character you created, let me use it.
Yeah. But they don't see that. To them,
No.
it's just like, what's the easiest way to get the image? I don't want to have to pay you a lot for it.
Right.
Or, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't get that. Yeah, I've been there too. I feel your pain.
Bro.
I need a sandwich.
Now give us your pasta, Carlos.
Pay me in pasta.
Okay. Listen.
Oh, write that down.
That's true. I need white powder. So how did you get into the arts, Tiffany?
How did I get into the arts? Well, I've basically been painting all my life since I was 6 years old. I took art classes in San Diego, and then I guess how I got into animation was that I think the movie that got me into it was Avatar.
Ooh.
Oh, my friend's on right now. Hi, Charlene. She's my studio mate. Shout out. I'm gonna show her work later too. She's my best friend. Yeah. So I don't know. Could you hear me right now if I said that?
Yeah. Yes, she can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Because you're live.
But yeah, I watched the movie Avatar and I remember being blown away by the visuals. I had no idea how they were made. I just thought, wow, the world is so cool. Like, I knew nothing about animation. I didn't even ever do animation in high school. I was like a fine artist. Like, I did studio art and stuff. Took AP studio art, all that good stuff. But I watched Avatar, and then that's when I started applying to schools. Didn't apply to art center. Didn't really apply to like art schools. Really embarrassing. I actually didn't even know about art center back then. I didn't say I didn't do my research well enough. But yeah, I applied to, my top schools were UCLA and USC. Got rejected from UCLA, so got into USC. And I studied animation there in the animation program. So there are 15 of us. And from then, my journey going to film and now fine art, I guess. It's been really adventurous and crazy. But I found out after studying animation at USC that I actually really enjoyed like doing illustrations and painting digitally. So I taught myself how to paint digitally, and then it just sort of grew from there. And I've always been a fan of 2D animation. My thesis film was 2D animated on Photoshop, and so I love that look. And I think if I ever did do a film again, I would definitely do like another 2D film.
Nice.
Probably why I also worked on Loving Vincent. That part, the fact that it was painted all in the oils was really was really what drew me into it.
Yeah.
But
so what kind of work were you doing back right before you got into art school or right before you got into USC? Were you just doing pencils? Were you doing computer stuff? Were you doing paints?
No computer stuff. I got a Wacom tablet as a gift from my yearbook teacher, but I don't think I started till like freshman year of high school, I think. And I was so bad, like so bad. Actually, what I did, I started painting on my, sorry, let me just quit my stupid email. It's making all these sounds.
That's all right.
Ding, ding. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I taught myself that, but I don't know, I was doing like everything like at the school I was going to. It's called US Arts. It's like a local school. I was like mainly copying like famous artist people Wait, that doesn't make sense. Famous artists' paintings, like classical masters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It helped to a degree, but I think it kind of, in a way, like limited my sense of imagination of creating my own things. So I think in a sense of like sketching by myself and really like creating illustrations, like I came a lot later in that, probably like during like junior or senior year of college. Like I never really sketched by myself, like at all, like until like later on. And now I just, always bring my gouache paints with me. And now I'm, always have a sketchbook. I feel naked without it. But it wasn't always like that. I don't even know if I answer your question anymore.
No, you did.
You did.
You did. It's yeah. I did, because I wanted to know what was your experience like before you got into art school, because getting into art school for everyone, it seems like every one of us here on the panel and even a bunch of us in the chat room, when we're trying to apply for an art school, it seems like sometimes they're asking for a portfolio, sometimes they want, sometimes they don't need a portfolio, sometimes they just need a check. Just as long as you can sign your name real pretty at the bottom of the check, that's all they're looking for.
Yeah.
So I wanted to investigate that part. Like, what was it like getting into USC? What did they ask you for, a portfolio, or was it just a?
Yeah, I had to. I had to write an essay on that stuff, and I did send a portfolio. And what I thought was kind of interesting that I got in was because my portfolio was actually all fine art, and so I had everything from what I did in, art school and AP studio art in high school. And so I had portraits and I had pastels and charcoal, and it was no animation. Like I never did animation. So I was actually really shocked that I got in, because the 14 other people in my class, they're like, yeah, like I already know Flash and like a little bit of After Effects. I'm like, whoa, what's all this stuff? Like, I don't know any of this stuff. I just like to draw. That's it. Like, so it was pretty different and like intense for me. Like the first year we did flip books, and then a second year, we started getting into After Effects. And for me, my college experience was, USC was, I was very fortunate in the fact that USC was really experimental and they let us really try a lot of things. Like we didn't have to stick to
Cool.
Which I know, like, for example, other schools like Ringling, like they make you just do the 3D path. But we got to try all kinds of stuff, which is why for my film, I was able to do what I wanted and do 2D. But yeah, that was basically how I got in.
And then that experience, you're talking about being able to experiment with a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Did you get to experiment with film and creating your own stories and stuff?
Yeah. Like I think starting like junior and senior year, I created like I did my own version of the little match girl on After Effects, because the whole thing was like trade a film in After Effects. And back then I was so proud of it. It's somewhere on YouTube. I don't even know where it is. It's like Little Match Girl by Tiffany Mang or something. Don't even try. I think it's buried somewhere deep. I don't even
We're gonna find it.
Oh, it's not
a fable story, and I was so proud of it. I remember I was really proud of it at that time I made it. And I remember everyone in my class liked it, and now I look at it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's complete shit. But
I want to find it. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Good luck.
Oh, there it is. That didn't take long at all.
Good.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, please don't play right now. I can play my favorite stuff. It was showcase my very terrible amateur skills on After Effects.
A long time ago. This is nostalgia. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Noel says Carlos is a stalker. I'm sure he has it saved. Yeah, I kind of did.
Carlos is a stalker, I'm sure.
Ooh, information.
No, it's there. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes.
You can, if you want.
Probably.
Sharing is caring.
It's just history.
It's just history. Yeah.
All I'm going to say is all you have to do is check literally everyone's Instagram and you'll see, just scroll to the bottom and you'll see, like, everyone is embarrassed at the bottom of their Instagram.
True. I know. I was actually filtering through my Instagram like a couple of days ago. I'm like, why do I have so many posts? I need to delete all this stuff. And so I was like deleting all the beginning stuff. Oh gosh, like all this art sucks, and gotta filter through it and stuff. But yeah, you can find a lot of stuff on social media, I guess.
And now that we're there, you being a traditional artist working in gouache and whatever else,
Yeah.
what's it like for you on social media? Is it beneficial for a traditional artist to have all of the social media stuff, or is it kind of a pain in the ass for you?
I think, I mean, now in this day and age, I think it's super essential that, you know, in digital or working whatever industry, I mean, working whatever part of the artistic industry, if you do need social media, it's a pain in the ass. I'm going to admit, I hate keeping up my Instagram, hashtagging, uploading stuff on Facebook. But I mean, you have to, because that's how you get found and known, I guess. But yeah, so I mainly update my Instagram. I'm a lot lazier on my Facebook. I don't even really update my Facebook art page anymore. If I could and I had money, I would totally hire like a publicity person just to post all my stuff. But naturally, I was like, why can't we just find someone to do posts for us? And she's hearing that, she's probably laughing. But it's a pain in the ass. I really don't like being on my phone. And that's another whole rant I won't go into. But
Oh, please do.
Yeah, I think it's necessary in this day and age. And yeah, so I do update it. Yeah.
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 And this probably sounds like a really dumb, I won't say question, but dumb concept. But I think, especially even myself and a lot of our listeners, so many artists have become mostly digital. I won't say, entirely, but so many. And I think the social media aspect of it comes really naturally because you're already working on your computer. You just drop the link. You do whatever you can record. Mm-hmm. What's it like being a traditional artist and then having to like snap a photo and like, there's a separation there. What is that?
Well, I think, yeah, for me, it comes like the extra element of like, I have to, I've been getting a lot better, like taking good quality pictures of my paintings.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that extra element, like take a picture, edit it, crop it and all that stuff. And then, so what usually happens, I'll take a picture, crop it, I'll email it to myself, then like download the image from my email, and then post it on Instagram, and then share it through Instagram on Facebook, or make a separate post on Facebook. So that's pretty much the process. When it's digital, yeah, just save it on my computer and then be like, click Facebook, and then I guess I still send the images to myself on email. I guess I'm not very tech savvy, so I haven't found the fastest way to, but that's just how I do it. Right. Yeah, but yeah, there's that extra thing of, documenting your work. Good about that, because it's not on your server and they're all physical. But the good thing is like they're all physical, so that they won't get lost because they're in your studio space somewhere, hung up, or wherever I keep them. So it's really nice having that physical aspect, I think. And I love that about being able to paint traditionally.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of going to USC for animation?
My favorite part, I think like learning the history of animation freshman year. That was a really interesting class, although it was always on the day where like after we partied and stuff. But now like thinking back, like if I now older and more mature, like I would have really loved to pay attention more, and I love that, like history, and it's so interesting. I'm not saying I remember anything I learned because I don't really, but also I think working on my thesis film, because that was my senior year, and that really pushed me to like what like I've never done that. I never made my own film, so that was the first time I did that, and that's when I really pushed myself to meet with all the faculty advisors. A lot of them were really awesome in helping me. I changed my story, like, I don't know, at least like 5 times, but I got to go through that process of changing the story, making it better and better. What is creating visuals around that story, concept art, how do I want my film to look? And since we had a budget of like 900, but since I didn't want to use all of that budget to, and plus my film wasn't 3D. I didn't have to hire riggers or anything. So I did all the animation myself. I painted all the backgrounds in watercolor. Sorry, I'm laughing at Charlene's comment. Painting all the backgrounds in watercolor and really figuring out the look of my film. And I think the story that it came from was something really personal. And the way that it came about was if I hadn't studied abroad in Italy, then I wouldn't ever have thought of this story. So to me, it's really interesting how the flow of events happened. And of course, you asked like, what was the best part of, studying? I got to study abroad in Italy. So that was really awesome too. So
wow.
Our USC program offered that. So any of you guys listening out there, if you ever want to know what school you want to go to for animation, USC is one of the best film schools, and they offer a study abroad program in your junior year to Italy, Florence. So it's really awesome. You study at SACI, SACI, and I'm kind of forgetting what it stands for, so I'm not going to botch it. But yeah, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So I would definitely recommend like studying abroad. Yeah. So I think that and my thesis film would be my favorite part, studying at USC.
And then after USC, you have this really cool film and everything. What was your ultimate goal as far as what you wanted to be when you grew up, quote unquote?
Sorry, I'm going to answer Charlene's question really quick. The film's name is
sure.
Emile. I'll type it here really quick. Wait, is it called? Yeah. Oh my God, I was like, what's the title of my film? Okay, I didn't see it just one. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, going back to your question. You said after I graduated,
Yeah, well, during your education.
Yeah.
What was your ultimate goal? Did you want to get into film? Did you want to get into animation?
Yeah,
fine artist?
Here's an interesting thing about me. Like, I'm gonna admit I am a little embarrassed by this, but like, I mean, my ultimate goal was to be like a visive artist or a concept artist, and I still want to do that. And I haven't really worked for a major studio doing that yet. And I can say when I first got out of college, I was working on a game. It got picked up by a company who wanted to fund us for making games. I was doing all the main backgrounds and stuff for that. And then, so I was really excited about that. It was called Thralled, and it was about a runaway slave. And so it was a small group of us. And I don't know if you ever heard of Ouya, but they're like a small console company that were funding a bunch of games to be made. And so we were one of them. But that fell short because they lost backing and everything and went bankrupt. So that was sort of a downhill thing. But then the thing that really changed my whole direction was working on the film Loving Vincent. So that's kind of basically owing to that film how I got to where I am now.
How did that originally come about?
Working on the film?
Yeah. The opportunity to do that. Did they just come to you and say, please help us?
No, so that came about. That was that basically I was working at PSYOP as so after that game I worked on, it went couldn't make it anymore. I was like desperate for jobs. And I was, so I actually started working, I'm like admitting this, but whatever, I'm just going to put it out. I was working as a PA, a non-artist job, but actually made me do a lot more art inside at PSYOP, which is a company in Venice Beach, a production company. Do a lot of commercials and stuff. And so while I was working there, my friend forwarded me the ad and they're calling for artists. And so I applied around February 2016. And it was during work, and I saw it and I was like, this is amazing. This is what I've always wanted to do in school, but now like a film completely oil painted, like, is that true? And I just really quickly applied. It was easy, sent in my portfolio. Then I didn't hear back for 2 months, and then the production coordinator, Magda, emailed me, and she said, hey, we saw your portfolio, we really like your work, and we want you to come to take a 3-day test in Poland. And so I go, oh, awesome, I got a reply. And I was really excited. But then the thing was I had to fly to Poland to first take a test. And no guarantee that you would pass the test. And if you didn't pass it, of course, I'd have to fly back here. And yeah, but that's how it came about. And so in about 3 weeks, I made the decision to fly out and take the test. And no idea if I passed or not. I was in a group of 6 people testing, and then they were also testing like 100 other people at that time in group 6 to 12. So I was like, for example, Charlene came in later, and a bunch of other people, and it was the hardest test of my life. I've done background tests. This was literally the hardest test of my life. I sat in a cubicle, had to animate Armin, like looking up. And if you guys are interested in all the text and I don't know all the how the setup was, how we mixed the paints and everything, like it was gruesome, it was grueling, and I wanted you to animate 6 frames total, at least in the 3 days, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's
until you have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's basically 6 full oil paintings in 3 days.
Yeah. Like you have
I want to just go back super quick to the original application process. Did they have any artwork that piqued your interest? Or was it just a description and you're like, okay, I have to be a part of this?
It was the trailer, definitely. That trailer that went viral. It was actually not supposed to. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but one of the trailers went really viral back then, and they used that to call for artists. It actually wasn't even supposed to be released years later, but someone leaked it, and it actually was for the good because it just got all around the world. So I saw that trailer and I was blown away. I was like, wow, like the movement's really good, and the paint, and it looks like Van Gogh, and it just fascinated me, and I was really in awe. And so I think, and then I forgot how their site looked back then. They've totally revamped their site back then. I don't even know if they had a site, but it was definitely the trailer. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because that's a huge leap of faith to just say, well, I'm going to go to Poland in a few weeks. I might be back. I might not.
Yeah, it was. And I was almost not going to do it because I was going to teach a plein air class at Society of Illustrators. And I was like, how am I going to find a sub? How am I going to, I can't just suddenly say I'm leaving. Like I've made commitments to these people. But one of my really good friends, Peter Paul, you guys might know him. He convinced me, he's like, you know, you can always teach afterwards. My alarm's ringing. You know, like this is kind of, you know, an opportunity that I think you want to try. I was like, you're right. Like, what's wrong with me? I was like, because I'm usually the kind that like loves adventure, and you know, I will kind of go crazy. You know, I won't think of so much, you know, the what ifs. I'll just go for it. And so I was like, you're right. You know, if I realized I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't try. And I was like, you know, if I do go there and I got a really cheap plane ticket, at least I would be able to visit Gdansk and say I visited Poland for like a week and then come back. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a win-win situation kind of, you know. So it was, yeah, I told my parents, didn't believe me at first. That was a whole nother ordeal. And,
Oh, man.
They're like, she's asking for beer money in such a creative way.
yeah, like like anything Europe equals scam. They're just so Asian that like they're like, you know, this company's definitely not real. I was like, Dad, Mom, the producer has won an Oscar award before for a short film. I think it's legit. So I finally came to them, and I just went by myself and met amazing people there, and it was, yeah, the best experience in my life.
Nice.
That's so cool. And we talk about taking that leap of faith on this show all the time.
Yeah.
And we've talked to people that they might be from somewhere on the East Coast or wherever in the States. And I'm not even talking about the ones that are super courageous coming from different countries. I'm just talking the brave folks here in the US.
In the US.
That say like, what was it? I want to say his name and I forgot. He works at Nickelodeon right now. He said Jordan Koch.
Oh.
He said if you want to fish, you got to go to the pond.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to get into animation, so he packed up, and I think he's originally from like Pennsylvania, I think it was. And he just packed up his stuff and moved out to LA, and he made it happen. I mean, he did go out to, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. He did go to CTN, and he met some folks. He did some networking there, and so when he came, it wasn't completely a cold call type of situation, but he definitely took a leap of faith. He came out here. He didn't have any job opportunities, and he just worked that network until it happened for him. So I guess the moral of that story is, and you're a really good example of that, is you can have all the skill you want. You just have to have the confidence in your skills that know that you're going to land on your feet. Especially if you're not in the exact perfect place. For example, again, LA, there's a lot of animation stuff that's happening in LA, which is fine. But if you're in Sheboygan, they're not going to be looking for you, because there's a lot of folks that are here. They're in LA already. So
home of the Fighting Spuds.
Is Sheboygan in Wisconsin or in
Wisconsin.
Iowa?
My aunt lived there.
Oh, I thought you.
Okay.
There's probably more than one.
No, I think I was thinking of the one in Wisconsin. See, we're all originally from Chicago.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah, Charlie's from some podunk town and wherever. But we're all originally from the Midwest, and then just one day Jack and I decided we're gonna pack up and move down.
It was a Sunday.
We dropped a ninja smoke bomb and we took off.
It was on a Sunday.
Like the Roadrunner.
I love that Charlie knows.
And I was driving back from Indiana. He called me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like coming back up,
Charlie called me. He said, "Hey,
what are you doing?" Yeah, because I was like,
packing.
Back.
I'm leaving for California with Jack.
I was like, wait, what?
And that's how that worked.
Okay.
And then he came along too.
Yeah, I stayed. I'm stuck here.
Wait, so where are you? You're right now in Chicago?
I'm in Chicago. Yeah. Right outside of Chicago. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, and then you in LA. Okay.
Yeah, I work downtown Chicago.
Carlos is up in Sonoma.
Yeah,
I'm in LA.
Growing things.
Got all type of time zones right now.
I know.
No, technically we only have 2.
Oh yeah, you guys still the same way up there?
Yeah. Tiffany is in San Diego.
Yeah, not too far away.
And you're originally from San Diego, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So was it a big deal for you to just go up to LA for school?
Nah, because actually,
yeah, that was great.
So it was like the perfect amount to be far away, but not too far away.
Yeah, it was good.
And
just enough for your independence.
Yeah,
exactly. Not too far.
Yeah.
I felt about school with me too.
Yeah.
You just need a little bit of leg room, elbow room. Parents.
Yeah.
The parents like, bye. I'm not gonna see you for a while. Don't come up and visit.
Yeah.
I need to be far enough where you don't want to visit, but close enough where if I need some groceries, you can
where they think about I don't really feel like driving down there to.
Well, I never had to drive down to San Diego because they would always come up.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes. Now I have to drive up to LA a lot. Not a lot, but whenever I do something.
But then they probably didn't want to do the traffic all the time, so it gave you a little bit of freedom,
Yeah, they learned that. Especially when I went to Poland, I think they were like, okay, it's grown up now. We can let go a little bit.
Was it different when you came back?
Really proved myself there. It's like,
You came back an adult?
I did. I think I did. Yes. I transformed.
Poland transformed you.
Yes. I did.
So for school you went to Italy, and then for work you just dove right in and you jumped into Poland without even checking the water. You're just like, let's do this. Boom. Did you I have a bunch of questions and I'm just trying to filter through to see which one actually makes sense. When you went to Poland and you did your test, your animation test / oil. You were painting in oil, right?
Yes.
Did they, after the test, did they keep you right away and put you right to work, or did you have to come home first?
No, I just stayed there. So I, after testing, you had to go through 2.5 weeks of training. And then if you pass training, then you're officially on production.
Oh.
So during training, they gave us 2 more scenes to animate, and different characters, kind of to see like what your style matched the most, because each character had their own brushstroke and their own looks and stuff. So that was like an intensive 2.5 weeks. And the production, the head of painting, supervisor would come in, and like there was really no formal boot camp training. Like it was sort of like you learn through your mistakes. So they come in, you know, tell you what you need to work on, how to correctly animate the beard, how to correctly animate, you know, timing and all that stuff. I studied animation, so I understood the whole concept of timing, and so that I was thankful for that. But a lot of the painters are fine artists, and so that's why they needed you to go through training, testing, and training, because it takes a while to understand, you know, like, you know, the concept of animating, you know, scraping off each painting to do a new one, and then knowing like or knowing what parts to scrape off and what parts to keep on if the movement was slow and stuff like that. So you really learn through each scene that you did.
So you're scraping. You're working with wet paint this entire time and scraping on. Okay, because from, you know, first glance you kind of think like maybe it was filmed first and then you guys are painting over it and they're all individual frames, but that's not how it is.
Yeah, well, it was filmed first. So it was filmed in 2012, and in London. So you know, we had actors like Douglas Booth, Jerome Flynn, Game of Thrones, and they all filmed out the whole thing in front of green screen. And then we would use that as reference, and we turn it black and white, and then just so we could see like the jawline and where the eyes were, so nothing was wobbly. And then we had design painters early on who painted keyframes, you know, really like Visev art, like you know, the colors for this location and this location and this city he was in. And then we would use those keyframes and then other keyframes painted of characters to paint our scenes. So and yeah, a lot of people think like each frame is a different canvas, but it's actually all done in one canvas, each shot. So only the last frame is kept.
And so is it a little bit like stop motion where you're filming it as you go along, and then did you get supervisor approval as you're going, or was it you reviewed your shot at a certain point and then if it was bad you had to redo it?
Yeah, so in the beginning you have to get approved for each frame before you can move on. So I paint, let's say, frame number 3, then I call in my supervisor, be like, how does this playing so far? And I play the animation for her. Or let's say frame number 3, and then, you know, she toggle back and forth, how it is, and then she'd be like, fix this, and call me back. So it was really slow at first. So you couldn't move on and take a picture of your frame until you got approval. Then later on, you know, after you work on it for a couple of months, they know that you can do a good job. So then they say, okay, you can call me in every 3 frames. So you animate like 7, 9, and 11, and then you call her in for the 11th one.
Wow.
And at the end of each day, we had to render out our whole animation, and the director would look at every shot. And sometimes if they didn't like, so later on, let's say, you know, you had more autonomy and you animated like, I don't know, like 7 frames that day, which is a lot, by the way. The most I would have 5, and the average was like 3 or 4 frames a day. And if they didn't like it, they would delete all your frames. Then you'd have to scrape off your whole canvas and then start over from that frame that they didn't like it from, or that it was okay from. And that happened to one of my friends actually, and she was like, okay.
This seems really intense.
Wow.
Like, I'm getting a little like excited because it sounds
so
stressful. Go ahead, Jack.
So this is probably like only because we live in the era we do now, but did it have a post phase, or was the whole premise like this has got to be done traditionally, we're not fixing anything in post?
They had a post phase. No, I know they had a post production team, and they would fix up like, you know, little glitches in here and there, but all the painted like 100%, even the subtitles and the opening credits, and because I had a friend who stayed on and worked on it, and I was seeing and stuff.
How long was the full thing once it was done?
Like how long was production or how long was the film?
Yeah,
the
production.
movie or production?
The movie and well, let's do production first. That's a good one.
The production took like total from story creation, I would say 10 years, 8 to 10 years, yeah.
Wow, it's been in production that long.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense when you describe
That process, yeah. And then how long is it?
It's an hour and 35 minutes.
Hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. So
10
the
years,
first
huh?
feature film to be animated entirely.
And how soon was that after graduation?
2 years.
Okay, so you came out just in a dead sprint. Like you came out, you graduated school,
Right.
and you're in one of the coolest movies ever made. The story is fantastic.
I like the story too. Yeah, I did a little.
I'm gonna watch it.
But the actual movie, I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, I had to. So I watched it again just a couple days ago. And it happened to me the same way this time, where I get lost in watching the paintings that I don't really pay attention to the story. And then I wake up and I say, you need to pay attention to the story. Otherwise you're going to have to keep watching this movie, which is fine. I'm going to watch it again, probably tomorrow. But it's a fantastic movie. I think, to show you how difficult it is, no one has done it like that again since. And the cool thing is, you were out of school for 2 years and you're working on a movie that changed cinema.
Yes, yeah.
So she's like, yeah, kinda. That's fine.
She's like, well, when you put it that
Is
way,
what I
Yeah, when you put it that way. Yeah, I guess it's kind of right. Yeah.
No, I'm very thankful and very grateful to have had this opportunity because, like I said, it really changed my life and like what I wanted to do. I mean, to be honest, I was embarrassed for some time because after I worked on game, for example, I was like, I couldn't even get a job like in a studio. Like I kept applying, and I'm still working on my portfolio, and that's that will always be happening.
Yeah.
But then I got to work on this film, and so I tell people like even if I got a job offer from like Disney or Pixar or whatever big company, like I would not have turned it down for this opportunity because it's so unique in the way, and it's just so much I learned from it, the people I met from it, it like changed my life. Like what I want to do in life and like my direction, broadened my cultural perspective, living in a different country, the artists you meet, their different perspectives. I even had my own show there while I was there, so I organized my own gallery.
That's cool.
With 5 other artists, and so I learned that too. But everyone was just so inspirational, and it was I think it was really like the best time to meet everyone and just to really get inspired.
So what's it like working in a studio entirely of painters?
Oh gosh, it's crazy. I mean, like, where do I even start? And Charlene's still here. I don't know if she is, but she would be laughing right now. She's probably like, "Why are you mentioning me so much?" I'm gonna tease her. I'm gonna call you out right now, Charlene. Be prepared. But it was crazy. I mean, like, okay, like there were times where, okay, so you're basically sitting in your own station. Like you have a little box.
Yeah.
Pause. And your painter animator's workstation, and you're painting, and it can get depressing at times. I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes you're painting the same face, and if it's not moving that much, you're just sort of like animating his lips moving or something. And so I know for me, like me and a few other friends are really social, so I would make sure you can walk around freely. So they're like, there's not like no one's watching you, like, oh, you have to animate at this time and this time. Like some of my friends, they came in at like 2 p.m. and then they worked till like 10 p.m.
Wow.
Or 4 a.m. Like people who really wanted to get ahead, because you get paid by how fast you animate. The more you animate, faster you animate, like, the more you get paid.
The old school method.
And so, I would really make sure to walk around, say hi to people, meet the Polish painters. Everyone's really nice there. My friends and I would have coffee breaks, Charlene, me, my other roommate, Suchi. So we ended up living together there. And you know, there's times where I pulled all-nighters there and I painted literally all night so I could finish my scene. Those are fun times. We'd go in the kitchen and we'd like dance and have dance parties just to be awake, play hacky sack. I don't know, anything. It was unlike any typical studio here because you had such free hours and you were basically your own boss. You know, to really be on your own ass to finish your scene. And of course, in Poland, everything's, you know, dance clubs are open till 6 a.m. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we go dancing. That's like our workout. So we go out and explore the city, and it was so fun. So, you know, made up for all those times sitting in your cubicle and animating because, you know, you're in darkness half the time, you know, with the projector when you're, you know, getting all the basics done of, you know, of putting in the laying in the face and the outline and stuff. And then you turn the light on, you're animating, toggling back and forth. It takes about 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours to animate one scene, one frame, or to paint one frame, sorry. So, yeah, that was basically the life there.
And how cool was it?
Yeah.
How cool was it for, because
I can't hear you. You're muted.
Testing.
Wait. I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Can you hear Charlie?
Can you hear me? Test 1,
No.
2. Check.
Uh-oh.
You might want to restart. Yeah, we'll get Tiffany to restart and then we'll be good. All right, Carlos. Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
That's okay.
So,
super intense though, right? Like,
so when you guys go to see this movie, it's on Hulu. If you have Hulu,
right?
Can you hear us now? Still nothing?
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I pressed the button on my computer. I'm sorry.
Accidentally muted. She's like, we're done here.
She's like,
all good. So what I was saying right now is, if you guys are interested in seeing Loving Vincent, it's on Hulu.
Yes.
Go and check it out. It's fantastic.
Loving Vincent. Right? I need to go check this out.
The transitions in this movie are not even next level. The transitions are absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I think all of them were done by Polish painters too, so they're really talented.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I wanted to get back. You and I were talking a little bit on Facebook Messenger earlier, and I was explaining to you when I was younger, I was in the army, and they placed me ever so gently in Germany. And as a young guy running around a completely different country, I thought was one of the greatest opportunities of my life. Just to, because I've said this before in the past, when I was a kid, I thought vacations and leaving and traveling was only for rich white people. But so when I got to go to Germany, it was cool because I, broke the mold, I guess. Like, I got to travel and I got to go see things. What was that like for you? Like, just living in a place that you've never been, that's nothing like that. Well, I can't say nothing like, but that's very different than the States.
It was, at first it was frustrating when I first got there, I will say, just because Polish people don't really speak English. So I don't know, maybe in Germany they speak it a little bit more. But for me, like there's not a lot of English signs, and people, I think they are very embarrassed to speak English. So like if I started, approaching someone, they saw that I was foreigner, they'd be like, no, like English, and I was like,
I don't want to catch your English.
Yeah. And like I remember the first day I was trying to find a
English cooties.
And I just kept asking like literally 5 stores, and they were like, no speak English. I was like, I just need to find a charger. Where's a Mac store? Mac, Apple, like it was, so that was the hard part. But then I think the best part is that it really teaches you to problem solve, and really figure out things for yourself, and not rely on other people so much. And so, I had to figure out the bus station. I had to, and of course, when we're finding apartments and all that stuff, like, some of the Polish animators, they were really, really helpful in, helping us find accommodation. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without them, because it just wouldn't, because,
Right.
all new talk. So of course they helped out a lot, but I love being exposed to new cultures. I love like learning about like what kind of food they eat there, and like what kind of holidays they have there, and the architecture and everything. So for me, it was just really fast. Like I remember the first day I stepped off the taxi. I had a few days before my test to explore. As I got there a couple days early before my testing date. I took a taxi, an Uber, and I went to Old Town. And that Old Town in Gdansk was actually completely destroyed in World War II, I think. Gosh, I don't know if I got my facts right, but it's completely destroyed, and so they rebuilt it. And so it's really beautiful now. But in the beginning of the town, they have a picture of how it looked like it was destroyed. But it was just, I remember stepping out, and I felt, oh my gosh, it was just the best feeling ever. Just stepping out into like a whole new world, like looking at the architecture, and I can't believe I'm here. And I had such a fantastic day. I painted, I brought my easel, was painting plein painting, definitely wasted no time on that. And tried the food there, just was enjoying myself being alone in a new place and soaking it all in. And it was really great. And yeah, Gdansk is beautiful. It's by the Baltic Sea. If you guys haven't gone there, I definitely recommend it.
I have not. Yeah, that sounds.
Seen the photos. It's kind of like super bright buildings, right?
It
like
is, yeah. It kind of looks like
Amsterdam. Yeah.
A lot of people say, yeah. And it's super vibrant. Like compared to Warsaw, I would say Warsaw looks more like LA. And then I love it's a little bit more corporate. And so I was like, and a lot of like communist blocky buildings. And I'm like, beautiful parts too. But it's a lot bigger. But Gdansk has like a really nice, smaller town feeling. And it's funny because my boyfriend lives there right now, and and he's like, oh, I'm going to this club now. I'm like, I know which clubs I can show you. And I was like, I know more places than he does, and because I lived there for 6 months. I don't think he's not 6 months yet, but like you familiarize with everything, and it was cool. It was like we kind of knew our way around in the end. So yeah, you can go back and it would be like old times.
Yeah.
So do you think that experience and that exposure to other, what's the word I'm looking for, other environments or cultures, do you think that influenced your artwork at all?
Yeah, I think like in terms of content and what I like to paint, I used to love to paint like nature. And I actually stayed away from anything architectural because I hated it. But after working on Loving Vincent, I also traveled for 2 months around Europe. That was really eye-opening. I filled up one small sketchbook, a paint book, and a journal, and I made sure to just be really diligent in taking in everything, writing-wise and painting-wise. But that really opened my eyes too. And now I find myself when I'm painting, I actually love painting like what's the word? Like architectural things and cityscapes and stuff like that, which is things I haven't really have tackled before. So it definitely affected my like subject matter that I'm painting. And in terms of style, I feel like my style is always evolving in terms of the artist that I'm inspired by and what I see and feel at the moment. But I love Europe so much. I love like the people and just the architecture and like how free and open and green and stuff. So yeah.
That was when I try to explain to to people what Germany is like, I say, imagine driving through, say, maybe Colorado, but every time you come around a curve, there's a huge Disney castle right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's just like these buildings that are like, I don't know, like 1,000 years old, just sitting there.
Exactly. There's so much history.
Yeah. You come around and right there's a big castle right there. Like, oh, okay. All right.
So,
that just happened.
Yeah.
One of those things is like that I always thought of when I think of like different countries like that. It's like a lot of times I don't know if it happens in Poland, but a lot of times some of those like big castles and stuff will have like different types of like hidden like galleries and like getaways and like bed and breakfasts and stuff like that. And like one of the dream jobs that you see random people have is like, we're just gonna go tour these and then I'm gonna show you all of them. You know, like, so like every time I think of people like describing those things, that's what I think of. Like, you're coming up these long roads and next thing you know you're at, you know, Windsor Castle or whatever it's called, or like built years and years ago on these vast like epic like driveways and walkways, and comes up and like old trees have been around for like,
it's so cool, isn't it? It's like you can feel the history there.
And it's funny because the people that lived back then were like, what, the tall people were like 3 feet, 4 feet tall. So
you just painted a weird picture.
So like you're walking through and you got to like duck under the doorway.
That's
like,
true.
They really should.
Did you describe a hobbit?
They were just, I mean, they were just
the Shire.
They were just smaller back then.
They were. Like, if you go to museums and like, I forgot where it was, which museum. I think it was in Holland. And I was just past there and it was like a military museum. And I was like, why are these armor pieces so small?
Yeah.
And
Really?
it's because they're smaller.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Okay, so
I know, totally. I can't remember where it was, but I was also in some sort of military museum, and the full suits of armor, you know, that you see in Game of Thrones or whatever, but they're like, you know, 4.5 feet tall, and you're like, that's not threatening at all.
Jack is knocking on the armor saying, I will whoop your ass if you come out.
Yo, it's like it reminds me of like what is it? What movie would it be like? Wizard of Oz or something like that? like the little Munchkin people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But they have little armor and they just make loud noises.
Yeah.
You hear them coming. Take them to the dungeon.
Or Willy Wonka. A bunch of Oompa Loompas come out.
Oompa Loompas, that would be pretty funny.
That's like some weird like Game of Thrones. If in Game of Thrones just would have like really short like guardsmen. Take them away. Take him away.
Of Tyrion Lannister.
Like the guy just nudges the prisoner. Let's go, you. He's like 4 feet tall.
Any one of us go back then? Like if we found a time machine, we would go back there. We'd totally be Holdor.
Are you guys all like 1? I can't tell right now.
Yeah, we're all pretty big fellas.
Yeah.
I'm the shortest one though.
Oh.
Are you really?
Relatively short.
Yeah. I'm 6 feet. Jack is like 6.
Come on.
No, these two guys are taller than I am. How tall are you, Charlie? You're like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah. 6'2", 6'3".
And Jack, you're
6'2".
6.
Wow, you guys are giants. Okay.
Yeah.
So Charlie and Jack will be Hodor. I would be
Normal.
I would be normal. I'd be wearing that little suit.
Jamie Lannister.
Prisoner.
Yeah, I gotta tuck my hand out. So let's talk about the film is done.
Yes.
How long after they wrapped or they let you guys loose? Like they said, all right, painters, you're done. How long was it since your last day painting to when you saw the movie?
Since my last day painting, it's been almost 2 years because I ended beginning of November. show coming this November. It'd be 2 years. And when I first saw the film, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. I don't remember when I first saw the film. It was with my grandma.
Aww.
Were you back home or were you still in Europe?
No, I was back home. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back home. There was a screening in Woodstock for the whole team, and then not all the actors, but the actor who played Loving Vincent was there. And I really wanted to make that, but I was in Switzerland at the time, and I thought a train ticket all the way back to Poland would be so expensive. I can't afford.
You win.
Yeah. So I was like, I missed like the group, the company screening. But throughout like the whole time we were there, we did have like progress screenings. That was really cool to see like, like the film coming together and stuff. And ever since then, after 2 years, we haven't stopped doing promo for the film. Like I'm still touring around with the company Royal Talons, who supplied all the paint, let me get my facts straight. 6,500 tubes of paint, of Van Gogh paints, for the film. So we do promo with them, and we teach like paint like Van Gogh classes with them. We do workshops, and talks and stuff. So it hasn't stopped, and it's still coming. So it's been a really crazy ride, even after 2016.
It's funny that you're still doing promo for it.
We are still doing promo. We just came back. Charlene and I just came back from Oregon. We did a 3-day event there. She's doing one OC. I was supposed to do it, but I'm teaching a workshop this Saturday, so I couldn't. And then we're talking another festival in November. So it's cool. It's still on people's radar. So hopefully.
So how does that work? Are you guys you guys have separate like contracts now through a certain time for this promo tour?
Yeah, it's not even through like Breakthrough Films, which is the company that made Loving Vincent. It's just through like whoever contacts us. So like right now, like we're with Royal Talon, so we don't have like a set contract, but they pay for everything, and they pay us to go talk and teach about how to paint in Van Gogh. And so it's like individual events, I guess. Yeah. And it's been really fun. I can't complain.
Oh, that's super.
I'm gonna go ahead and bring up some of your work.
Oh, okay.
So you snuck this in there. You teach painting.
Yes. Teaching is another one of my I love teaching, one of my passions.
Where can people find out as far as learning from you? Where can they sign up, or where can they hire you to teach them how to paint like this?
Good question. Well, I'm for this workshop coming up in a couple days on Saturday. I'm teaching through Blue Rooster. So they're art store. And so I'm working with them, and then I'm starting to now that I live in San Diego, I'm starting to organize classes in my own studio because we have a big enough space. So still working on that. And posting. I usually post things on my Instagram and stuff. And I'm teaching at Art on 30th, which is they're on San Diego right now. That's the thing. So I know a lot of you LA people, it's probably hassle for you to drive down. So right now they're on San Diego, but I'm trying to organize some workshops in LA as well. And so yeah, I think right now I'm just starting off, since I'm still, I guess, relatively young, and I'm not like super well known or anything. Like I love teaching, and I want to try to slowly build that up. But right now I love collaborating with people to teach. I just did a workshop before with Mike Hernandez, who is another one of my big influences and mentors on wash painting. And this is my first workshop I'm going to be teaching on my own, so I'm really excited.
Nice.
So we'll see. But I love teaching, and for me, it's not really teaching. It's just like I love sharing my knowledge with people and my passion for plein air painting. So it just kind of comes naturally out, and hopefully I'll be able to keep on doing it. So yeah.
Cool. I wanted to ask real quick, because we were just here, and if you guys later after the show. If you're listening to this later, or if you want to now, go to Tiffany Mang.com, TiffaniMang.com. You can see all of her wonderful work. But one piece in general is this guy right here. There's a little boy is laying on a bear in the middle of this little lazy river type of thing. Have you gotten into illustrating kids books yet?
I haven't. I've done a book cover before, and that's something I really want to do. But I'm actually working on my own book right now. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, that's something I would definitely love to do. Actually, so I guess surprisingly, no one's ever asked me to illustrate their book yet. But hey, I'd like to.
Throw that out there.
Yeah, throw that out there.
Yeah, there's some of my oil paintings that I'm doing. I don't have a lot right now, but I plan to build up a whole portfolio of that too.
It's going to be fun to see, because this stuff is already so good.
I love your site too. Like, I love how everything's organized.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was a commission piece. The dog.
Ooh, I like that.
Do you have a favorite artist or a favorite art era?
Yeah, I mean, I love Impressionism. I would say if I vibed most with any era, it'd be Impressionism. Monet, he's probably one of my all-time favorite artists. And I have a ton of inspirations. They're not constantly changing, but I guess I could say I'm constantly adding on. Like, of course, everyone knows Jeremy Mann. I was obsessed with him for a while. I'm still obsessed with him. I mean, sorry. But I love his cityscapes. I love his portraits. Qian Cheng Wei is a watercolorist I really love. I currently love this artist called Kosta Dvorsky. He's Russian. Can't even pronounce his name. His paintings are amazing. And Tabor Nagy. I think he's from somewhere in Europe. I haven't met any of these people, but I just find them on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like when I love the artwork, I just latch onto it. I'm like, and I'm like obsessed with it for a while. I mean, there's lots, but I think it's really important to continue to. I don't think I even do it enough, but continue to read a lot of books, and I love like reading about artists and their lives and how they came to be and stuff like that. And like, for example, Ivan Earle, he's one of my like favorite illustrators of all time. And I think I read somewhere that he just did a backpacking trip all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast, and he just sketched all on the way. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
Really? Oh,
yeah. So it was like things like that. I love reading things like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Wow. Those paintings are from my trip when I traveled around. I carried around like a little moleskin, like a 3x5 moleskin, and then 4 studies on each page. So they're really tiny. And now looking back, I think I think they're all shit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I better since then. But it's funny to look back at your work and just be like,
oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, so that's my film.
That's funny.
You can just scroll down and see some. Oh, the password is, I can tell it.
Yeah, well,
those,
you can give it to us later.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to be black and white. Start off black and white, and then eventually it seeps into color.
Nice.
Because it's about a blind boy who hears some music and he sort of gets transported into his own world.
What did you use to pull this off?
So I painted all the backgrounds in watercolor, and then for the guitarist, for when he was actually playing, I actually filmed my guitarist. A guitarist who I found at USC, and so I filmed him and I rotoscoped him. And for the boy, I just acted out all the time and animated him. I wanted it to purposely be a little choppier because I love that sort of choppy look. But the look I really want to be really simple and really powerful at the same time. So really wanted like a minimalistic kind of look. So in the black and white scenes, like there's really like it's kind of a void and there's not really a sense of space. But as he sees color, it kind of becomes more, more tangible, I guess. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I like the blue at the top.
In a few years, so I wonder how I'd feel if I watched it now.
I think I know what you would say.
Yeah. Always critical.
And you have books available.
I do. I have one book right now. A lot of those sketches are from, I painted a lot when I was working on the film. So a lot of them are from Poland, inspired by, there's these really awesome, I think on one page, there's this really awesome, these military barracks. And so my friend Charlene and I, we snuck into one of them, and you're not even allowed to. We literally snuck in like a hole in the wall. And funny story, what we did was it was like in a destroyed inside. And I'm pretty sure there are homeless people living inside. But what we did was we picked up all these planks of wood and we actually used them to paint on for our exhibition later on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I gave some of the paintings to people because I didn't want to take them back to the States, but it was really an adventure. It was kind of scary. Yeah. And that's a commercial I worked on for Disney Princess Style Collection. It was a fun short thing. And I've done a couple commercials since then, but I'm still waiting for them to show me, and I think they've come out, but they haven't sent me it yet. So I'm gonna put them on my website when they come out. But I was doing all the backgrounds for
cool.
that. And some concept art, which turned out to be too complicated, and they wanted something more simple in the end.
Did you do this digitally and send it over like that?
Yeah, it was digital.
Okay. I was going to say, if I'm sending you something that's cool like this on a canvas,
I know.
We're going to have words if you send that shit back.
Did you know what I sent you?
You might catch some knuckles.
Nope.
Oh
yeah, that's so old. Oh my gosh, I feel like you guys. I'm like, I don't even know why. These are some concept art.
These are cute.
They are.
Super cute.
Stop it.
Cutesy.
They're for an app that they're developing, and so I was creating all these little characters called micro friends and stuff. It was a fun project.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
These guys down here look really good on a bed of pasta.
On a bed. Notice said bed.
They're like drowning in all the.
Yeah. That is very cool. So now what? What are you doing?
So now, I was working at Bart Cress's studio full time last year, and as a concept artist. So that was a really cool job, where I was basically designing things for projection mapping. So we would do things all around the world, and it was something I've never done before. But I was actually supposed to work with them before I went to Poland, and so when I came back, I was like, "Hey, looking for a job."
Back.
I'm back. And so yeah, luckily he was like, yeah, I'm so interested. So yeah, we did some cool things, I guess, because we did the HBO season 7 premiere party for Game of Thrones. So I actually got to go to that party.
Awesome.
That was cool.
Nice.
And did stuff for Universal Studios for their huge parade in Japan. And I mean, basically a bunch of projects around the world. So I was working full time there. But the thing was, after I had come back from Loving Vincent, I was aching to paint traditionally, and I just, something changed in me where, I used to have this goal of everyone has that goal, and they come out from animation school like, I want to work at all the studios that everyone knows, like DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, and Pixar, Disney. Well, all that is great. I was like, I think I really want to paint. The fine artist in me is really begging to come out. And I would see all my friends from the film, and they'd be like, I'm painting, and I'm doing this. And that's all I want to do. So it was really
How many times how many times has have any of your friends been like, "Hey, look at me, I'm painting." You're like, "I got IMDb, bitch."
That's true. I do. Like a lot of times, yeah. Because I have that little thing to rub it in. Because like, a lot of my friends are like, yeah, I'm working
Flash to link
on that studio. And I'm like, well, have you worked on an Oscar nominee film yet? And I'm never like that. No. I'm not like that. No. Like,
just casually dropped it. So
casually drop it in,
Tiffany's using her gouache to make like Oscar paintings of her Oscar and stuff.
For Oscar, I wish.
Can you imagine if they sent you an Oscar? It's just in their studio.
Really hard
just off camera.
Yeah, no, we got to go to the Annies and other cool like BAFTA. There were like some party thing, but no, we can sneak in the Oscars. We're so close, but no. Yeah. I guess going back to so I was like, I would always see them paint, and I was like really aching to, and so I made the decision. Like, I think around end of last year, it's like I think I just gotta do it. I'm gonna move back home so I can save money on rent, and I'm gonna get a studio with my best friend, Charlene. And so,
so it's a good thing she's in the chat room. Otherwise, we'd have to talk about your friendship.
I know.
Charlene.
I don't know. She's not responding anymore. But yeah, we met on the film, and we're basically like we became best friends. And we do so much promo together. For Loving Vincent, but she lives in San Diego. She's from Germany, but she lives in San Diego now. So I was like, I think I want to share a studio with you because I know you, and I don't want to share like a random person. And plus, we found a really good place with really good rent. So now we have a studio in Art on 30th. It's in North Park, really cool hipster area. So we finally moved into a bigger studio as well. We were in a smaller studio. We just moved to a bigger studio, Studio 15. So we're gonna start teaching our classes there. I'm teaching oil painting classes there as well. Now I just have more time to paint and working on my own projects and mainly teaching and freelancing. So it's kind of like each day is kind of different and unexpected, but it's fun that way too.
Yeah.
and with your painting, how do you generally find clients in? Like, cause it's like a pretty big leap to go into being just a full-time, fine artist.
Yeah.
Do you have an agent? Do you have how do you find clients?
Well, it comes slowly. So I wouldn't say right now I have a list of clients right now, not at all. It's definitely a learning process for me because like I'm still getting myself established, but like the thing I did with Loving Vincent, I just knew I had to take a chance because then I would just never be at peace with myself. So I was like, I know I'm not super established yet, but I still have to take the chance just to get a space. That's one step forward so I can have a space to paint oil paintings. And I believe that if I, follow my heart and follow my passion, then it will just roll out from that. And, I'm trying to network, meet more fine artists, applying to competitions and stuff like that, trying to get into galleries. And it's hard. It's really freaking hard. I mean, there's definitely times when I'm just like, what am I? Am I even an artist? How am I ever going to be successful? Like, you definitely have that moments, and I know every artist has them, so I'm not alone. But you just
whenever you have those doubts, think of me looking at you in your face saying, shut your face.
To be looking at you in your face.
That's seared in my mind. It's tough sometimes, but in the end, I think you just have to get yourself excited about, like giving yourself new projects and pushing yourself and just doing what you love. And in the end, I think it'll show through. So we'll see. I think I'm still in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that makes you stand out from a lot of just traditional artists is that you can bring it into the animation world.
Exactly. And I still don't want to leave animation. Like, I still love film. I still, want to freelance, ideally in both, be able to paint and also freelance. So I do know digital, I do know traditional, and I really want to find ways to bring them together. Like, I don't know, make a film that does both. And, there's so many possibilities, and I love finding that out. So, yeah. So I guess it's good that I came from animation, so I know that background, and then now transitioning. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when you're feeling a little different, you animate, and you can come back and paint, and then, like you said, you put them together.
Yeah.
Get a nice little story together.
Yeah.
Kids books.
Yeah, exactly. Children's books.
Children's books would be
Guys,
cool.
know anyone who needs a children's book illustrator? Let me know.
Putting it out there.
Hear that?
Yeah, just saying.
So then, how we met was I watched this really
Passionate,
interesting video on YouTube.
Right.
Passionate, if you will. Bobby Chu last week released this video, and your name came up in it. And that's when I started investigating who you are and what you do. And
that's when you started stalking me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, true.
Speak on it.
Guilty. I always want to be careful, because I don't think that burning bridges is ever a good thing, unless they need to be torched, and then you burn them down and handle business. But so long story short, something happened between you and the folks at CTN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead. What happened there? Like,
yeah.
Well, long story short, if you guys want to read more of it, it's on my Facebook. Few posts down, but I was supposed to have a show with CTN, and it was supposed to be a month show. It got cut short to a day because of lack of insurance at the place that we were supposed to display at. And on top of that, when I picked up my pieces, all of them were damaged.
Oh no.
Every frame had scratches on them because they weren't properly packaged. So when I reached out to the head of CTN, Tina Price, I don't know if I should name names, but you know what? It's out there already.
Everybody knows Tina.
Everyone knows Tina.
That post is out there.
Yeah, and that post is out there. So you know what? Fuck it. Her mom's home. She flat out said that, she accused me of insulting her and refused to pay damage every my frames, because she said that it was my fault that I didn't check the frames there, and that there is just simply nothing they can do about it. And there's a lot more to it, in the fact that I tried to contact her and she refused to talk to me on the phone. And so with that whole thing, I honestly, when I posted on Facebook, I just wanted to share my experience and really to warn other artists of really that it's really important to have contracts, and it's really important to not to rush into things, because I learned my lesson, as someone who was really eager to get their name out there. I was like, yes, this sounds great. Like, let's do a show. This is awesome. Oh, they chose me to be in that winery. Like, yeah, like I'm totally down. And so when I posted that, I had no idea it would go so viral. Like, I really literally thought 10 people would really like it, but it's gotten so much attention. And on top of that, so many people have reached out to me sharing their own stories. And so it's really become a really big issue, I would say, just with the way things are handled at CTNX and everything, which is why Bobby reached out to me personally. And I didn't ask him to make that video. He made it on his own accord. I didn't ask him to mention me, and he mentioned me. He just made that video, and I was really grateful that he mentioned me. And then the whole Cartoon Brew Network came out, and I had no idea I was in it until someone showed me the article. So sort of, I guess, been snowballing into this.
This builds.
this huge thing, really literally snowballed. And I don't know what I should say and shouldn't say, but I'm just gonna say that I am really happy in a sense it has, because I think these issues really need to be brought up, because the stories I've heard are pretty atrocious, and I think people need to know about them, because as an animation community, we need to stand up for each other. And if people are being treated like that in a way that it's just not just one person, but a lot of people, then something needs to be done about it. And so it's become a bigger issue than, just, not, for example, me not being paid for my damages. It's kind of become how the community and how artists in general are being taken advantage of, used just for publicity or for money making. And I'm sorry, but after hearing a lot of people's stories, and I won't name anyone, of course, it's really ridiculous, but that's really what it's come to after hearing that. So yeah, that's basically my spiel.
And we talked about this last week on our show, that some of the good when stuff like this happens is like, building awareness, and sometimes it keeps different groups and companies honest when there's such a big outcry based on what happened. So regardless of like what happens next, at least I think the community has spoken up to a point where hopefully change happens and things happen. Because we know we live in 2018 now. Like artists and a lot of people have more of a voice if they just speak up, and they just make their things known. And I think that's one of the good things that's coming out when you make a post. You see how the snowball chain reaction happened, that you never even thought it would happen, just based off of you getting your story off your chest and putting it on Facebook. Yeah, so this should be good. Some good should come out of it, and like hopefully some awareness should be raised. Yeah,
hope so. That's the goal.
And I think this is a learning opportunity for everyone involved, for even those of us that aren't necessarily involved, but even those of us that are out here working on our portfolios, and like you said, you're looking for that exposure. So and if you're listening to this, these are some of the things that as an artist you should always keep in mind. Number one, don't give other people the responsibility to take care of your stuff. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. That's why when you drive a car, you need insurance. Literally anything you do, you need some type of insurance. And it's not, and I'm not trying to come down on you at all. It's just one of those things that if you have never had a show or a gallery exhibit, insurance isn't one of those things that you automatically think about.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the cool learning part, right, Carlos and Jack, of like, well, if you want to put on a show and all these other things, what do you do next? And what are the things you need to ask about and stuff like that, in terms of like, you know, an artist that wants to show stuff, and how long a residency happens when those things are up. So that's some of the things when I read it that I didn't even know about. It was those things, so that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Just to hear about, okay, this should happen next time, or wow, these are things we should talk about in terms of the contract and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it opens up a conversation about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that excuse me. One of the other things that I hope the situation gets figured out one way or the other, and folks are actually have the confidence to, and if it's not CTN, it's not CTN. I don't know. I think they're big enough now to where they probably don't have too much to worry about. Maybe, I don't know. But there's a lot of folks that have come out. Bobby, Steven Silver was on the show talking about his experiences, right?
Okay.
we as artists also have to we have to have a certain sense of self-esteem that lets us know that we can say no and it's okay, right? Like you can't, besides everything that happened to you, which is heartbreaking, but a lot of these stories actually come out when CTN itself is happening. And we need to be like, hey, time out. This is not cool. Like, this is not the deal that we made. This is not, you can't talk to me that way, or whatever the case may be, right? We have to, and you did the right thing by communicating your story so people can also say, hey, that's not cool. Like, you can't do, and it's not, you can't do Tiffany like that. You can't do us like that. That's the community that you're affecting. You know, and it's okay to say you're really gonna treat us like that. Like, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be here. So let's take a look at the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You're shoveling our stuff. And if we decide we didn't want to be a part of that, you would have nothing.
Yeah.
And it's okay to do that.
I think it's okay to, you know, definitely like voice. I think what a lot of people, they, you know, I think they've been scared to, you know, to voice because, you know, they're afraid to burn bridges. But in this case, you know, I think, I'm not saying like, because because I shared like a lot of people, like I think people are finally realizing that and in order for change to happen, you have to speak up sometimes. And that's the only way that, you know, some people will realize that, yeah, because if you're going to promote all these events and all these, like, you know, run a huge convention or, you know, I don't want to pinpoint, but anything that, you know, depends on artists and that promotes artists, you know, you need to respect them and treat them right as well. And I feel like that is kind of being overlooked right now. So I'm really hoping that things will change and that awareness will be raised on both ends, and that, you know, I think people are really realizing it's important to stand together in solidarity as an animation community.
Right. And even if nothing bad has happened to you, because this is the crazy thing is for the bad stories that are coming out of the situation or the relationship with CTN and the animation community, there's so many really good stories that are coming out. So whatever it is that you're doing with those good things, let's go ahead and just cover everyone with that good feeling. You know, there's a lot of John Park says hello. And Steve says accidents happen, but what seems to be a running theme with Tina is the way she responds to artists when they come to her with issues sounds rude and dismissive. Yeah, I don't know Tina, so it's not fair for me to chime in on her character or anything like that. So by far, I'm not trying to talk bad about her, but what I'm saying is everyone in the situation it's a learning opportunity for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that's the most important thing.
And just like I was saying before, like every week CTN has on Facebook, they stream their live models and stuff. And I love that.
Yeah, that's, I mean, yeah.
I love going to CTN.
Yeah. And I'm not like Bobby said, like, I'm not saying like the idea of it and the things that CTN runs is great. Like all those ideas are great. The idea of bringing artists together in one hub where they can meet other artists and network.
Right.
But if you're gonna run something as big as that, you have to do it with dignity and with professionalism. Right. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's not. I created a group called boycott CTNX, and it's not like it's titled that just because it was more poignant, I guess. I don't know. But it's a platform where people can share their stories of, you know, if they have had, you know, bad experience in the past with CTNX. And the things I hear, I mean, it's not, it's just, I can't, for me, I can't stand by and just be like, oh, okay, well, let's hope that change will happen. Because if it hasn't happened in the past 10 years, then, you know, then something really has to be actively done, I think, in order for change to happen. And so I just really hope that people really realize that if it's a running theme, that something needs to be done, and that artists really need to be respected and not run over.
Right.
So,
right. And it really helps when someone with as big a name as Bobby Chiu steps up. You know, that's like your big brother saying, yo, stop picking on my little sister.
Yeah. Like when he really made that, I was like, whoa, like that's so, yeah. And I mean, he has such a big influence, like, you know, so many people were responding, and then, you know, and like, you know, it was really snowballed from there. And
For sure.
but it really, I think in the animation community, it really takes like just a few people who are really big and well known in the industry to step up and say something, and that really pushes other people who were maybe scared before, and to also voice, you know, what they have been through. And of course, it's scary because the animation community is so small, and, you know, I know people, you know, they're afraid that, you know, this may, you know, this will happen to them or this. But I think, for me, I think, you know, the most important thing is, you know, speak up tactfully when you see the need to, because that's the only thing, a way things can progress. You know, when you're in, when people, you know, when problems are, you know, brought to light.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So has anything good come out of this for you? Like, has your Instagram just blown up all kinds of crazy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think that was like yeah.
I
So,
mean, besides coming on Sketch Zone, I mean, you know, it's a big deal.
No, I'm really, really honored that you guys asked me. But yeah, I mean, it was especially after Bobby made the video and he tagged my Facebook in the YouTube comments and stuff. I mean, I've gotten like, I don't know, like over 200 friend requests. I don't even know how many, like crazy. Yeah, more followers on Instagram. A few people, you know, been like, you know, like they messaged me and, you know, they're like, you know, like, I'm really sorry about your experience, but it brought me to your work and I really love your work. And I'm like, oh, hey, well, nice to meet you. So it's really connected me with a lot more people. And, you know, I guess since I've kind of left the animation industry, I guess, you know, I'm not as active in it anymore. Like it kind of brought me back in it, or like, I guess, no, I don't know, kind of in a way. So I guess I'm thankful for that. I don't know if that's the right word, but I guess I'm thankful for that.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I think I was really thankful for like the support I got. I really wasn't expecting like people to reach out, or even, you know, to go
Make videos
and just I really wasn't expecting, but the amount of support I got from, I feel like the community as a whole was really humbling and really like touched my heart, as cheesy as that sounds. So it was really nice. And like I tell people, you know, I'm not didn't post this at all to get, you know, like any like, oh, I hope people will notice me more. Like I really did learn other people, you know, as an artist, like you said, learning from this experience. You know, it's like, now I learned, you know, like in the end, you really have to have your own back.
Right. Yeah.
That's really important. And I'm grateful that this happened to me in the beginning stages of my career, so that I know this for the future. And so
yeah, that's and I really I thought we lost someone. And that's the one thing about the creative industry in general, the community itself.
Yeah.
The artist community is we take a lot because we feel guilty that we are doing what we love.
Mhm.
And we think, wait, you're going to give me a paycheck to do this? Okay, I guess we'll do that. So we'll give way more of ourselves than we expect back.
Right. Yeah.
But then when things like this happen, you see the community come together and be like, oh hell no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's cool. Like
Yeah.
we and designers, animators, all that, like we need to do that, because kind of what we were talking about earlier, we have technology that's going to start taking our jobs. Like, so if we're not looking out for each other, who the hell is?
Right.
Next, we're gonna have to stand together as a community and stop AI from taking it.
That's right. We're gonna have to run around and unplug every computer.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a massive undertaking. Who knows?
We have to unplug this whole block. Let's go.
Heist or whatever. I don't know what you call it, of mankind history. Some movie will be made about it.
I'm sure you can make it sound epic with the guy with the deep voice.
What? Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to write a story and do storyboards. You can animate and do whatever the hell you want, but it's about like just a band of
short film. Oh my gosh, like kind of raising awareness of how like AI could take over, like something really short but powerful, and like
we'll call it the Matrix.
Yeah.
I animator.
I animator.
I artist.
Yeah.
Art. Sounds interesting. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Yeah, good story idea.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
So,
go ahead, Charlie.
No, I just had another question, but like I was just gonna say, well, speaking with that, because this conversation kind of rolled into the client one we had before, but I was like, are you going to still make it a habit of doing the convention circuit, if you will, as a freelance or as a full-time artist? Because I know that sometimes a lot of artists do that also. So CTN was one, and working with CTN, but like other organizations like CTN, is that something on your radar?
Yeah, I mean, I did Designer Con 1 year, and then before that, I was doing a lot of WonderCon, Long Beach Comic Con, and I was doing a lot of night markets too. And I took a break from all of that because it was so tiring. And for now, I think I'm going to focus just on making art, and I'm trying to do actually like markets and stuff around San Diego too. But definitely, I think when other cons start being developed, I want to definitely check those out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something I still want to.
What are night markets?
Yeah, night markets. I did a lot of those. They're like, it's called 66 Night Market and OC Night Market. And so basically how that is, it's free. You just sign up, and if they choose you, you just have your own space. But the thing is, you bring your own tent and your table and anything you want set up. But I mean, in the end, if you have all that already, like if you have a tent and you bring a table, you just have to have a car to fit everything, and you set up everything. So those are really fun, and the kind of artists I met there really awesome. I'm sort of a family with them too. And if there's food trucks, like tons of food. It's like food, music, and art. So there's an art walk. So those are really fun, and I did those for 2015 before I went to Poland, and so yeah, I've had my fair share of like cons and markets, I guess, but they are exhausting. I will say that. So I did take a break from that.
Sounds familiar. Jack, was that what you were a part of when I visited you out in LA? Was that an art walk?
Yeah, kind of. I was doing a couple of those types of
there's a ton
markets. Yeah,
those was cool. That was like one of my favorite parts of the trip. Like that whole thing. If you remember that, Carlos, and then all the other art galleries on
that was LA, downtown LA's art walk. Yeah.
Okay, that's another good one. That's cool.
Yeah, there's like a ton of those. Like I think there's pancakes and booze and those.
Okay, now you're talking.
Pancakes and booze.
I did do one of those, and it was just I had one of my oil paintings there, and it wasn't my crowd per se, because I'm gonna do like these classical landscapes, and there's all these like kind of graffiti looking or like really rural looking, I don't know, you call it like art, pop art and stuff. And I was like, I feel really weird here. But the cool thing was there were free pancakes and there was booze.
Talk about it.
But there's like a lot of cool things like that. And it's fun doing those and just going with friends and stuff. I love that too. So yeah, you guys should check that out. I think there's one in SF and one in LA. Yeah.
I think those are super cool. Like, I mean, I've talked to Carlos and the guys. Like, I've had a bunch of friends that I've known just in the last year or 2 years or so, kind of do the same thing you did, which was like stop what they were doing with their one job to go into full-time, art, full-time artists. And like, I have another younger friend named Tim Von Ruden, who's a phenomenal illustrator, and does just amazing drawings with pencil, just like crazy levels of detail.
Wow.
And he fully embraced the whole, convention life and all that good stuff. And he has it where, half of his year is like traveling. And like he has this little art collective that he goes out and he just he's got his books that he's selling, his art books and stuff like that, and like he's doing really well for that art because he's so traditional. You would think he could be a concept artist at whatever game studio or working. I'm sure he can work anywhere he wants because his drawing skills are that good. But anytime you see a guy who can do just really like his pencil work is really good, like highly super detailed stuff. I'll send you a link for his stuff. But like, and like, you remind me of him just on the other side with the paintings and stuff. So I was just like, anytime you can do that, those once you get in it, once you set up, it's like it seems like it's the freedom part of it, right?
It is. It's
in terms of
it's definitely it's
get your schedule going.
It's really tricky. So I was talking to like I have friends like him, who like they make their living just traveling, going to like different states and selling their art, like doing cons and it's funny because it's always like grass is greener on the other side. Like now, it's not like I have per se.
Right.
So sometimes I'm like, what? Oh my god! Like how am I gonna make? Like how am I gonna get anywhere? Like
because you got to split your time too, right? Like
split your time.
6 months, you're like just at home creating, right, or getting ready for it, and then you go, right? So.
Yeah, it's really about like time because you're really organizing your own schedule, and so you're like, okay, what can I do today? What? And sometimes it's like it's like maybe I should go back to a full-time job or something like that. And so you're like, but then you have to stick to what I think like you have to stick to what you decided to do. So I know it's hard now, but I know if I keep sticking to it, then it like I was talking to Pascal Camp Beyond the other day, and I don't know if you guys know him. He's like a really awesome illustrator. And I was Facebooking him and I was like, I'm just in this, situation right now. I'm like, I'm not sure how to sell my art. Like, it's not like I'm selling anything. I'm still making most of my money freelancing and, teaching and then I really want to be able to sell my art. Like, how do I get there? And it's just, and he's like, you know what? Like, 2 words that stick with, patience and perseverance is 2 P's, and so I was like, yes, you're right. Always, remember that because you really have to have patience. I think it's really important. I was like, thank you, I remember that. Yeah, it's important.
So you had snuck in there earlier that you were doing a trade show or some kind of show in November. Which one are you doing?
I did.
Did you? I thought you did. Okay.
Wait.
Just kidding.
I don't even know my own schedule. I might be going to a festival if they pay us. So I'm going to be doing a talk at a festival for Loving Vincent.
Okay. That might have been a
talk. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was that. And then I don't know. I think right now I'm going to be in a plein air competition, so I'm kind of excited about that.
What's the competition?
It's a plein air competition, and
what is that?
So basically, yeah. So I'm even learning about this as a fine artist. Like the thing is like, as a fine artist, you know, the more competitions you're in, the more galleries you're in, you can put that on your resume. And so basically I applied, and if they choose you to be in the competition, you go out and paint for 3 days, and then you have your pieces judged and juried, and then there's a first and second.
What?
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, my first competition.
Cool.
It's just called a comp. It's called comp. Like that's a thing.
Yeah, plein air competition. Yeah, like I'm just learning about this, and I'm talking to other artists, and there's a Laguna plein air invitational where, you know, I'm not invited to that, but I want to go see the artist paint.
Yo.
You know? That's sort of like the fine art network, you know.
Yo, this sounds like you're like a athlete.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's like kind of basically like an athlete for like plein air painting. Basically, you have like 3 days. You're like, okay, go, and you're like gonna whip out like as many paintings as you can. I don't know how it works. I've never been to one.
But you get no housing, and you have to sleep outside with the wolves.
You have to camp outside on the beach illegally, and like
you have to make your own paint.
Yeah, I know. The first day is just making paint. Actually, for Loving Vincent, we had to mix our own paints. And we'll not make our paints, that's different. But yeah, we'll see. I'm
Do you know what you can paint? Is it whatever you want? You have like an hour or 2 hours to do it?
I think you have like all day, but yeah, you have to paint around that area. It's near Santa Cruz, so I guess it'll be a little mini road trip for me. So I love road trips. I'm kind of excited. But you paint, and then you do all the paintings, and then you can only sell the paintings you did in the competition.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's like Iron Chef.
Thank you.
I know. I guess, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And have you looked into this? This is like just like a thing all over then?
Yeah, it's I'm sure there's a ton of these plein air competitions, but I just happened to apply to this one and I got in. So
it's called plein air competitions, right?
This one's called 4th Annual Capitola, which is a city. Capitola plein air competition. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if anyone, I'm sure I'll know someone else who's doing it. I'll probably meet someone from the animation community who's also a plein air artist or something. And then, you know, but for now, I'm by myself. And
can the general public go to these things?
Yeah, they can definitely watch you. Like I could bring my friends and they could paint with me, but they just can't enter into the competition because you have to be selected, and then like your canvas has to be stamped or something.
Ooh.
So they know that was part of the competition. Yeah. But I'm sure anyone could come and watch.
Best in show. It's like a.
I know. I hope like I need that money. I want the first place prize, $2,500. Like,
What?
Yeah.
That pays for 2 canvases.
Jack, have you heard of this before?
I know. Sorry, what?
I was saying, Jack, have you heard about this before?
I have not.
Yo, this is.
But it's crazy because, like, for example, like, you know, like in animation, it's like, you know, portfolio reviews and like working your portfolio. And then I'm learning, you know, from my friend Charlene, for example, like, because she came from fine art. It's like, for example, if you want to propose something, you have to write, you know, you can write a grant, you know, to propose to paint a mural here.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about writing proposals. It's all about writing proposals to galleries, and learning so much from my other friend Corey Peters, and he's like, you know, like how you market yourself, where to sell yourself. Like it's so new to me, so I'm just learning so much right now. It's just all so crazy, and it's I mean. So,
I love the competition part. Like, I love that you're timed and you have to be invited.
Yeah, it's kind of I actually just applied. I was like, I don't know, just paid $50 for you know. There's like an application fee, and I was like, whatever, I'll just try. And you know, I guess I was lucky this time. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to pay.
Okay, so hang on, I gotta call bullshit.
Yeah.
Because you continue to say, I just filled it out and I just kind of got it. Okay, you're kind of filling out, you're kind of getting a lot of stuff. You got skills, kid.
Hey, I guess I'll always look at my not good enough or something. I guess it's the Asian coming out of me, you know. I'm like, how do you do it?
That's the artist, and I wonder how much of that comes into it.
Yeah. Good to see it from another.
Talk to her like a year, and she's gonna just have a bunch of ribbons,
right?
From all these different places. $2,500 here. This was only $15.
No, what's funny is she's gonna enter a kids face painting competition. So how many kids can you face paint?
That's what I'll be at the bottom of my career. And I'll have to. I guess I ran out of canvases. I have to just paint kids' faces now. All right, kids, line up. What do you want on your face? All right, I'll just put a stroke on you. Done. Next person.
Disneyland. Just a fine artist take on face painting.
Artists at Disneyland. Be like,
can you imagine? It's just like,
no, just go away. Move on.
It's just fine art, just like a big black streak across the kid's face. call it done. It's abstraction.
Abstract impression.
Yeah.
That's right.
A big red square over his eye.
You're unique in every way.
Just paints all the kids look like mimes. That's gonna be hilarious. They're thinking they're gonna look like.
That'd be pretty funny.
Just mimes.
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, mimes.
Can you imagine you walking around the park and there's all these kids like with these weird, sad faces? Hired a fine artist for the face painting.
Turn them into like a walking mime.
Yeah, legion of mimes.
What do you want? A butterfly? Okay, here. Done.
His face is white and like two butterfly outlines around his eyes. It looks creepy.
I could build a career being notorious for that.
Never know. How many kids you can paint before they say, "Yo, you gotta stop."
Right. My kid asked you for Spider-Man. Yeah, he looks like Hello Kitty. You're lucky. Get out of here.
Oh man.
Hey Jay, let's go ahead and play.
Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come.
Tiffany Mang.
Hello.
This or that. Crayola crayons or finger paints?
Finger paint.
I figured. San Diego or LA?
Oh. Oh my God, that's tough. I don't know.
What's option C?
You can pick one and then say why, and then you can pick the other and then say why that one.
Well, I will have to I say I love San Diego because there's just so much less traffic and I couldn't deal with that at all.
Hello.
I mean, it's very beautiful here. But you know, LA does have a lot more opportunities, I guess, in terms of animation and probably fine art too in general. But I mean, I love both in different ways. But I guess I'll have to go with where I was born, which is San Diego. So
the San Diego it is. Plus, that's where your studio is.
Exactly.
You win this time.
Work on a movie or work in a gallery?
Like work in a gallery?
Work in a gallery?
Or paint in a gallery?
You mean like this being displayed in a gallery?
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to say I would want to work on a film because ideally I would want to have my own gallery where I don't have to take the definition.
I like it.
There you go.
I like it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like it. Back to animation. Flash or After Effects?
Ugh. I really don't know either very well. So
when you animate, what do you use when you animate?
Neither. I use Photoshop. I like it.
Photoshop? Perfect. There you go. That's the winner. How do you, now that we're there, because I know Jack was investigating a Photoshop plugin that would help you animate.
So many years ago, but there's like these things called layer comps, and you can animate that way. It's not as smooth as Flash per se, but I forgot to learn it. But I'm sure they've improved it more since then.
Yeah, they have like a video timeline now.
Video timeline.
Yeah, I can go deep into that, but I just don't want to. Basically, Flash basically needs at least one or two brushes like Photoshop.
Yeah.
And then that's all I was gonna say. Yeah. Photoshop it is. Hey, I know you traveled quite a bit.
I have.
So I want to know, which do you prefer, pierogi or ravioli?
Oh
Ooh.
gosh, that's so tough. I love Italian.
Dang.
Choose your words wisely.
I don't think a gluten brother can answer that one.
No.
Mm.
Gluten Brothers have to say both.
Can I say both?
Sure.
If,
Okay.
if you want.
If you
Okay,
want.
so I won't be lame.
I won't be
That's
like,
right.
thank you.
That's right.
I have to go with pierogi because it's really similar to like Chinese dumplings too, and I really like.
Oh.
I like
Okay.
the different kinds of fillings you can have.
Yes. I like them fried
Yes,
Hell
right.
yeah.
with
Yeah,
the sweet cream.
But
Have
if
you-
you ask me what my ultimate favorite food is, it'd be bigos. Well, wait, hold on. Is that my ultimate
What?
food? Yeah, in terms of like, I guess if we're going with Polish cuisine,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, it's the best.
Beagles?
Bigos. It's like it's a Polish dish and it's a winter dish, and it has like
Mm.
sauerkraut, cabbage, like 4 types of meat. But you don't if you don't eat meat, you don't have to have all that meat, like mushrooms.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
but it like basically has everything, and like then they like saute, then they like brew it for a long time with wine, and it's so
Hello. Now you're talking my language.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
it a stew?
So good. I eat it every day. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's all I got as far as this or that. Thank you for
Ask me like a
playing.
country, like this country or that country.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be hard.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. So that leads us into you guys. I'm
Say
about to
what?
blow the doors. I'm about to blow the doors off
Ooh,
this.
look at
He
that.
just had, like he just had a preload. Look at that. Look at him go.
Look. Teresa Elliott. Teresa-Elliott.com.
You only have one.
This is not a photo. This is a painting.
Wow.
My girl, Teresa, gets down.
Wow, that's
Let's
beautiful.
take a look at her paintings. She has a thing for cows
Okay, that's a little weird, but it's cool.
Beautiful, Ash. Wow.
That's cool.
and dirty boys.
That's
Again,
beautiful.
Yo, that's crazy. Click on that picture of the boys in the
the
mud.
dirty boys.
Is she painting this from scratch
Oh my gosh.
all the way up, or is this like painted over a photo?
I don't know how she does it, but it's really awesome texture.
It's crazy. Cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is she your friend or?
No,
Not yet.
no, yeah, not yet.
Wow, that is just beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Oh, the lighting. Like, is this no process? Tell me she has process videos somewhere.
I would have to look. I didn't go. You can see the brush strokes right in here.
Super cool. Wow, thanks for introducing. I love her work. Another new obsession coming out.
Wow.
I know, and this is why I love this show, because I can bump into your work and then later on get to know you and realize that you are awesome. Yeah, I mean,
It's
and I don't know if the texture is coming through for you guys, but this is really cool stuff. You can see the canvas, and then
A
you can
little
see
bit.
some of the brush strokes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could touch.
Oh. So yeah, I don't know.
Wow, it's really stunning. Her lighting is really cool.
Yeah,
I want to meet her.
me too.
How did you find her?
When I was stalking you,
So
I happened to cross her website and I was like, oh boy, she's crazy too.
awesome.
Wow. It looks, because usually I don't like really realistic things like this, but this one has a really nice composition and subject matter. I think the way it's portrayed
Mm-hmm.
is really
Yeah.
cool. And I don't,
And
yeah.
I'm a lot like that too. I like the very loose stuff. I actually prefer the super loose stuff more than I do the realistic stuff.
Yeah, same.
But her work was top notch.
Yes. Cool.
Let's see what else we got. If we can take a look at
I
cameras.
know her. The animals. Oh yeah.
Look at this kid.
Nice.
This reminds me, I've worked on the website for it's a Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis.
The smoked out movie. What was that called?
It was where Robert Downey Jr.'s wife was pregnant, and it was just like planes, trains, and automobiles, basically.
Wow. Okay.
But Zach Galifianakis had a little dog, kind of like this. It was in Boston, and on the website, if you told the dog get the carrot, it would do something very inappropriate.
Oh no!
And they wanted it in there. And
Really?
I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, Teresa-Elliott.com, and obviously we're going to have the link in the show notes. So you guys should take a look because her work is pretty amazing.
So good.
I love how Tiffany, I love how you guys create light and dark using completely different colors. Just like a splotch of green here and there, and that's a highlight.
Yeah.
I just think that's pretty. All right, that's it. There's more paintings and stuff, but
Okay. I have to go check out her work in LA then.
oh yeah, Maxwell
Alexander. Anything else?
Yeah. Teresa-Elliott.com. Oh, look at Charlie's ready to go. I'm afraid of you.
Yeah. So
all
this
right,
week,
your turn, Charlie. Go for it.
yeah. So this week, we're gonna highlight. I went 2D again this week. And this is a little bit more colorful, a little bit more playful. We got the super detailed one that Carlos did, but now we got this one by this guy. His name is Dave Greco. He's the lead artist, Art Craft Entertainment. He's over down there in Austin. He's got amazing work. So he's got some. So let's check it out. Just some really cool stuff. But the cool thing about it, with this guy's stuff, is I like his use of colors and stuff like this. I get really drawn to these types of illustrations and stuff. They're really when I want like just bold colors. It reminds me of old school comic book art and stuff like that. And people like Joe Madureira and J. Scott Campbell and Jason Wong and all those guys in the old school studios that used to do coloring, like liquid color and all that good stuff. It's when it's vibrant and pops off the screen. But the other thing about Dave's work is that like his line art work is really good too. So this is like a fan art, if you will, of like some of World of Warcraft and some of the major characters and stuff in it, but then here you got his process and his color stuff. If I click on this for you guys here, let me go to the bottom here and click on this, and then click on this guy here. We go back up. I'll pull this back out a little bit so you can see it. Yeah, cool. There we go. That should frame it better. I love how he does his colors because I still don't understand how he gets. Well, it's just rendering at this point, I guess. How he gets to the end product because his colors are very like pastel-y and like splotchy in the beginnings, and his drawings aren't all the way kind of done either, huh?
He's go down. Oh, there.
Yeah. So like you can see each step, and what it gets in, he kind of gives you an overview of the steps, but like each one kind of starts out this way, of the splotchy, and then gets a lot tighter, and then even more rendered. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the end product's super cool to see it from beginning to end. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has like a whole process here.
Time lapse too. Sweet.
So you see this? Did it take over? Are you guys seeing this? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you can just kind of see. Look how like it's like I watched a couple of his time lapse, and like his like line art confuses me. like, like it's that's the only way I can describe it. I watched 3 or 4 of them yesterday to try to pick out one, and I'm like it's just random whack'em doodles until it turns into something amazing to me. Like, I know he's literally, you talk about the sketchy gestural style. I feel like his stuff is like that, but like then all of a sudden you can kind of see it where like like the elf face here is a little bit more like put together, but the zombie undead priest and all these other ones on here, it's like I can barely make out what all this stuff are, how these guys are supposed to be like intertwined, because it's just like
it's really good,
really quick.
Yeah.
But I think that's an important lesson for artists to keep in mind is stay super loose as long as you can. And the drawing will find you.
Yeah, so this part was always kind of cool, where it made a little bit more sense, where it's like, oh cool, now he's starting to like tighten it all up,
That's cool.
Which then led me to believe, like, because he has a Twitch page and stuff like that too, where I was like, whoa, he probably just has his scene in his head already then, like, which is kind of cool.
Which is bananas.
And like now he like just does rough landmarks of what he knows he's going to turn it into later, or I don't know, maybe he's doing it all on the fly.
That's cool when he lays in the value.
Look at the values. Like, he does the whole black and white, whereas I've seen other artists do the whole like that's dark blue or dark gray, like they fill it all in that way, which I think he is kind of doing that here. But then he starts with the color all like right in, and like the color on top of the gray, which gives it a different color. But it's kind of crazy because you would think, okay, cool, this is going to be like a really cool muted like piece, but it gets so vibrant after a while. Like, he keeps rendering it, he keeps pushing it, right? It looks very watercolory at this point here.
Right now, it does.
But then if we fast forward a little more,
I want to see when he adds on the vibrant.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where that is. Let's see.
How long is the total video?
The total video is not that long. Hold on. It's
the time lapse, but
20.
I wonder how long it takes him to go from an empty foot. Look at the layers.
The layers are crazy, yeah. So he just keeps rendering, keep building it up. I just thought each of this stuff was like really cool. Like, the best part of this fight this week was like he goes through and like he has a nice little following on Twitch because he gets so in depth with these time lapse and stuff like that. So that you can just see how I'm using different colors and stuff, and it's just totally different from where I thought I was gonna go. It's like a cool thing about like how you push a piece to the final most end product.
That's awesome.
Really cool. And he does the nice little pans. It's like nice. I love the way he does his process. It's like the crossfades in there. Like,
I'm gonna be watching
a video in here. I think there's probably music with it or whatever, but like, it's cool. Yeah. So this guy is a great artist. Check him out. He's got a lot of different stuff here. Click through here and then I'm done. Just really cool.
Wow.
Vibrant stuff. And look at this line drawing, composition, and painting. He likes to teach with his stuff. So
that's cool.
Look at that. A little bit of
that's really nice.
He does a lot of cool homages like to like classical video game stuff but like this is totally different, totally darker.
Jeez.
He's a beast. This one even has like little depth of field and stuff like that. It's blurred and stuff like that. And look at that time. It's a little bit different here, It's like kind of cool.
Look at that stuff. Nice.
Look at that one. That one's kind of like lit really well too. So like the cool part about it was like he has a bunch of different stuff, that like he does a lot of different types of styles.
That's not creepy at all.
Yeah. And I just love his rendering. So Dave Greco. That's his name. He's cool. Oh, you Jack.
Awesome. Good one. Well, Dave Greco just got a new Twitch follower tonight.
Maybe I will.
Jack, ready?
I am. I'm sticking with painting. We have Christopher Burke, Roofline Studios. He does gouache paintings.
Wait, I think I know him.
Uh-oh.
Personally,
Yeah, girl.
Not. Wait, I have to see his stuff first.
what I really like, aside from the lighting and kind of just general look and simplicity of it, it kind of I think part of it is because it reminds me of the Midwest, even though he's not from the Midwest. It just these buildings. There's like a certain sense of like loneliness and like bleakness that he captures about these kind of like singular light source buildings that are so common throughout the country. And he doesn't really ever do people, but like this is just so like quintessential.
No, I don't know him. Roofline Studios. Huh. Is this gouache or?
Yeah, he does everything in gouache.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
This is oil, actually.
What's gouache again?
Wow. Gouache is like opaque watercolor. That's what I paint in. But I never do anything that detailed. It's so precise.
It is just a layering up.
But I mean, he has a really great way of capturing these just like little pops of light that are so, I don't know. I find this very memorable in terms of like kind of how I remember neighborhoods growing up. You walk down these kind of solemn, cold alleys or streets, and there's always just like these little splashes of like light on these weird, otherwise kind of bleak houses. The architecture is like kind of bleak.
Really, if you think about it, it's like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it might be
the winter. Yeah, you know.
This is actually the one that I first saw that caught my eye.
It's so graphic, but so
powerful. It's so graphic, and yet it looks like kind of real, like it's something you'd actually see.
You've probably seen a house session. Yeah. Just like that. Yeah.
That is the one thing I miss about. That is the one thing I miss about living in Chicago is when it snows, everything gets so quiet.
So quiet.
Yeah, you go out, sit on bed 11 o'clock at night.
Like this is pretty much just like every alley I've ever walked through.
Yeah. That's basically Chicago right there. You need some graffiti on the doors of those garages.
It needs to be like July until
like this is cool.
Fireworks
this makes me think of being like a kid.
That's cool.
What the heck? I can't think that's gouache. I don't know how he does that.
But yeah,
like almost like Polaroids or something.
Yeah, they're just like little screenshots of.
Is that what the like garbage with the snow on top of the garbage can? Like
this?
No, there's one where it's like,
it's just snowy garbage can.
Something you see every year. Well, I see.
Yeah,
like it's super relatable, right?
Yeah,
there's something about like like images you see every day, or you take for granted in the wintertime that you've seen. How many times you had to
like this
take the garbage out and that stuff's on there?
This hot mess, it's just like
really nice.
I've seen that too.
No one ever goes up to clean them up.
They spent a lot of time on those wires. Wow.
Yeah.
I follow this artist too. He's awesome.
Check him out. He's Roofline Studios.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
He takes like everyday looking artists or everyday looking scenes and makes them so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Like if I saw that in real life, I'd probably be like, I don't want to paint that, but he just makes it so powerful. I don't know.
Hey, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Would you like to show off some of your inspirations?
Yeah. Let's see. How do I do this? Wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, so wait, how come I can't share the screen on the left?
Oh. Little green.
There you go. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Almost. Yeah, now I
There
can.
it is. Perfect.
So, wait. Let's see if I know how to navigate through.
Cool.
Wait, hold on. Why isn't this? I've clicked on his stuff. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I'm just gonna pull up his Instagram. Goes to words. Okay. So this guy, I recently found him and I love his work. I love the way he paints people. And like he has
Whoa, wow.
quality to all the people he paints. Like the skin is like so wet and tangible.
Yeah.
This I think is super cool. Like
What is he painting in? What
oil.
Oil?
Yeah. It's pretty big, 9 feet.
Whoa.
I guess that's the painting. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Like a close up. I just love the way he like adds highlights on the skin and how it's so simple but so detailed in the right places. Like he doesn't add detail everywhere. I guess he has more.
Oh, that took him. Wow.
Yeah, I guess that's the full image. Like his use of color too. And I don't know, and I just there's a few on his site that like this I think is really cool, but there's a few. Let me see if I can scroll down more. But I really like. I think this is so cool.
Yeah.
I love how the background is really simplified, and you can like feel the movement and the girl, and
yeah, I like that one.
it's almost like abstract, but not at the same time.
I feel like the background would be hard to take, like very tastefully designed, but
Yeah, like it looks so easy.
That's crazy.
Colors, but to really get it that simple and like, I feel like it's not even overdone. Like he just really made a decision and put on the paint and it was like that's the background and I like how there's still layers of like the undertone seeping in and the burnt sienna and like this area. Yeah, I really like his figures. Like I don't paint figures that much, but I really appreciate it when someone can paint really nice figures. Just like I don't know the way
And he gets the really colors so right.
Yeah, like I think this like you can tell they're underwater, but I guess they're not. I don't know. It's like he doesn't have to detail everything, and I love that. But they feel like floating figures, and
yeah, they're all like crazy poses.
Oh, this one's really cool. I think too. This was my wallpaper for a while.
I don't blame you. That's
that's a good one.
And I guess I'll slip in one more for landscapes. I love this guy.
Okay.
I like this is like totally different and textural, but I love. There's a few. I love how abstract it is. Like it's actually really hard to do abstract to this point, but still like tell what it is. Like I think this is so beautiful. How did this Jeremy man? But I love the texture. And just I'm really impressionistic, so I love it when things you just feel the mood of it and nothing is really rendered.
I like that.
Those guys are my favorite too.
Yeah. Like if you can do that, like I love the simplification of this. Oh wow, it's the first time I'm seeing this. Of the structure in the middle. Oh my gosh, this guy, I have to show you. I guess I'm out of time. His name is, I'll write it down in the open chat. His name is Bato Deparzagov. Okay. There's so many artists I love, but he blows my mind. And it's funny because for him, I've showed a couple of my friends and they just don't see it. And they're like, I don't like him. But for me, I think he's a master. I can't believe I didn't bring him up. But I don't even know if he has a website or anything, but I would just have to, I'll just really quick go on Google because you guys have to
do it. Let's go.
Like,
the only time restriction we have is whenever you have to go to bed.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, cool. We'll talk till 2. I'm just kidding.
We've done that too.
But like, I love the simplification.
Speaking of that,
Oh my gosh, I think like if you squint and look at this, you can still tell what it is. But I love how he just blends in everything.
Yeah.
And let's see, what I really like, if I can even find it. Sometimes on Google, it's a hit from this. Like this. I don't know. I think it's so beautiful. Maybe it's not really not for everyone because I've showed some people and they're like, eh. But I just love that spill of light and there's really not.
yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say Bato Dugarzapov, Kosta Dvorsky, and Tibor Nagy. I can write those down.
Yeah, please.
In the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I exit out of this screen share.
Click on the green thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There she is. Look at first thing she does, she fixes her hair.
No, I made a funny face. I was like,
so Tiffany,
yeah.
If people wanted to find your work online, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram. I'm probably updating that the most. And they can find me on Facebook. I have my site. So my Instagram handle is Tiffany Mang Art. And my Facebook page is also Tiffany Mang Art to make it easy. And my website is tiffanymang.com. And sometimes people contact me through the submissions, like area on my page, but that's linked to my like wrong email. So sometimes I skip over them. So I'd say if you have like a direct question that you want to ask me, just email me at tiffanymangart@gmail.com. And I will see that email. If you email it to my other email, tiffany.mang2, I probably will skip over it because that's just all spam. Yeah, I would say Instagram. I'm still thinking about making I don't know, like a page where people can access my gouache paintings and oil paintings if they're interested in purchasing them. But I don't have a cohesive site for that yet. So right now, most people just scroll through my Instagram, and if they're interested, they will be like, "Oh, how much are you selling that for?" or something like that. And my studio is at Art on 30th in North Park. It's 4434 30th Street, North Park, San Diego, 92106, I think.
Carry the one, add the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Studio 15, and we have gallery openings each month because the gallery downstairs, which is owned by Kate Ashton, she hosts gallery receptions and gallery shows every month. So when those happen, a ton of people come in, and then us artists up top open all our studios for people to come in and see your own work. So we have one coming up on August 25th, which is a Saturday, the last weekend of August, and I think every month after that, usually at the end of the month. So if you guys ever make a trip down to San Diego, then let me know. And yeah, other than that, any updates on workshops or anything, I will probably be posting on my Instagram and Facebook page. And yeah, and if you have any questions, just email me at Tiffany Art.
Cool. Thank you so much for taking time to come and hang out with us and geek out on your art.
That was
I just filled us out real quick, and then
I'm sorry, I don't mean to come off like what I just. That's really.
No, I'm
don't listen
teasing
to Carlos.
I'm teasing you.
I don't ever come off like that. It's just for me. I always feel like I'm, always learning and really, really love, like learning from other people and also sharing my passion. So I'm really excited with you guys.
I'm teasing you.
I know.
It's just funny because your art is fantastic, and it's funny because basically if you are an artist, generally speaking, not everyone, but generally speaking, everyone is like, oh, I could have totally done that better. It's just funny because you're like my hero now, and it's funny to hear you say that. Oh, you stop
That's
it.
kind of sentimental at the end.
Hey, Charlie.
Yes.
If people are looking for you, where can they find you?
You can find me in a couple different places. You can find me on Instagram at instagram.com/CharlieBW3. You can find me at my portfolio website, carvelcollective.com/CharlieB Williams, and on the almighty Pinterest, pinterest.com/CharlieBW3. Check it out. Get it in your life.
Jack Kasperzak, how about you?
As always, I am at sketchbookjack.com and sketchbookjack, lots of other places.
That's a good one. I like that one.
And I'm Carlos. You can find me at coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice, pretty much everywhere else.
Coconut Justice? Okay.
Yeah. And this is Sketch Zone. You can go to sketch.zone. This was episode 155.
155.
With the one and only Tiffany Mang. So if you go to sketch.zone, you'll be able to see we have all the links there. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And if you're on Instagram and you end up drawing a chosen sloth
in a hideout.
in a hideout,
It's so good.
draw that, tag us.
Everybody draw it. Come on.
I'm ready for this one.
Make sure you go through the whole thing of like tag people, tag us, Sketch Zone Podcast. And so we can share your work and you can see that it actually works. Like, again, my buddy came out with an album. It looks like he might be hiring someone to do some album work. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's exposure for artists by artists. And again, if you're able to catch us, we try to be here every Thursday night, right around 9 p.m. California time. And we'd love to talk to you, like John Park was here and other folks like Charlene, our new best friend.
Noel
was here. A few other handful of other folks. Steve was there. I think I said maybe not.
No, you.
Anyway, so if you could, Tony was here. So if you guys can catch us, cool. If not, we're all over the place. We're on Google Play Music. We're on SoundCloud. We're on iTunes, Stitcher. And I said iTunes. So there. So everyone, that's it for us. I hope you had a good time. And we will see you next week.
Yeah, see you.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.